Let me do that all over again. I was muted. Thank you, everybody, for checking into the Hockey Podcast Network. My name is Producer Clark. It's been a while since I've been on here. Yeah, it was muted. That was my fault. It's been a while since I've been on here. I think it was end of the hockey season last year, the NHL regular season that I was on here with my good buddy Max Ritz, who was the co-host of the Squadcast with me. You can see the Squadcast logo on the back of my laptop there. But we're going for, we're super pumped to be involved in the World Junior Hockey coverage. So thank you all for being in here. I see we got about 20 to 25 people in here right now. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if this sounds okay. We're trying something a little different. I have a co-host who's going to slide in just a minute. You can't see him yet. He's off camera. He's doing some work. We got some top secret stuff going on over here. But he'll be sliding over in just a minute. Definitely when the game gets going, we'll start him up. But I can see that Dylan's checked in. I got Sean checked in, calling me out for muting my mic. Love it, Sean. No worries. I see Jacob's in here. Jacob loves chirping me, so he's loving the fact that I muted myself off the top of this broadcast. We got, who else we got in here? We got Cat Dab. He says, we'll put his comments up here. I'm here for Roddy and Dufour, but he's cheering for Finland. That's fair. Who are you guys cheering for tonight? Who do you want to see? Who are you interested in watching tonight? Are there players that you have your eye on? I know a lot of people are talking about Connor Bedard and Mason McTavish. Those are the big names for Canada. Kent Johnson. For Finland, Roni Hirvonen, who I'm excited to watch tonight as a Leafs fan myself, to see Hirvonen and Topi Niemela up against this kind of competition. I'm super excited to see that. The goaltending battle should be very interesting, and a whole lot more. So who are you interested to see? Let us know, and we'll get to your comments here throughout the night. Make sure you guys like and subscribe this YouTube channel if you haven't already. I know most of you probably already have. Make sure you like the video. If you wouldn't mind taking the link to today's video on YouTube and sharing it around, say, hey, come watch the World Junior game with me and my friends and producer Clark and whoever else. Definitely share it around. That'd be great. It'd also help out this channel. On top of that, make sure you head over to DraftKings if you haven't already. If you want to get into some awesome sports betting, daily fantasy sports stuff, DraftKings is the place to go. Use the promo code THPN. You can see it on the bottom over there in the corner of the screen. Use the promo code THPN, and they'll hook you up with some awesome bonus prizes as well when you sign up. So make sure you go do that on DraftKings. But again, the game is about to start. The puck is dropping in mere moments. The preview video is coming on TSN right now. They're showing a bunch of Canada highlights, babies cheering for Canada. It's going to get exciting really soon. So make sure you guys send in the comments right now. Let us know who you're cheering for and who you're watching for today. Obviously, Canada is lighting up the tournament so far. You can see on the screen beside me, you can see the flash score graphic over here. Canada has been lighting the tournament up a little bit. They've been having their way with a few teams, especially you see that Slovakia result from the other day. They beat the Czech Republic. They beat Latvia. So it's been an exciting tournament for Canadian hockey fans. Obviously, this is probably their toughest. It's not even probably. This is their toughest matchup of the tournament so far. Finland's maybe one of the other favorites, probably the top three, I would say, teams in this tournament. And again, we're going to get some good conversation going with my co-host here in just a moment as he wraps up a very top secret work project that's going to change the world. It is, actually. I'm pretty excited about it. But I see that Jazz is in here. Jazz is saying, I'm Canadian, so you know who I'm cheering for. I can take a guess. Scott Clark's in here saying, go Canada. Sean Butcher's cheering for Finland. I think he's cheering for, he's saying you're guessing the Jazz is cheering for Finland. That makes sense. Somebody's cheering for the Leafs. We got all sorts of people in here cheering for all sorts of teams, even not even just the ones who are playing. Scott says, I honestly just found out it was being played, this tournament. That's a problem, and we'll have a conversation about this as well in a few minutes here with my co-host. But let me know in the comments right now if you guys don't mind. Are you guys super excited for this World Juniors tournament? Does it feel the same as a Christmas time World Juniors, or is this really weird for you? Because I know it's taking a long time, I think, for a lot of hockey fans, especially in Canada, that is even a hockey rabid country like Canada. I think it's taking a long time for everybody to get kind of into this one, especially you saw it with ticket sales. But even like for myself, I haven't been watching as much World Juniors as I normally do at Christmas time. So what is this for you? Is this a normal tournament for you? Let me know what you guys think about the tournament. I see my boy Robin Wildy from Prince Albert's checking in. Robin, been missing you on the Squadcasts. We'll be doing more TikTok lives as well soon, Robin. Maybe even during this game tonight, we'll do a TikTok live stream during this stream. So make sure you stick around, Robin, because I know you will. It does not feel the same. I'm not 100% invested, says Robin. Absolutely. That's just kind of how it feels, especially because, again, not every player that was eligible is here. So that's another thing. Like Yuri Slavkovsky's not here. Shane Wright's not here. Some of those big name guys aren't in the tournament. So they're just showing the lines right now. It looks like Brennan Othman's getting the chance to play with McTavish and Bedard today. Kent Johnson, Stankoven, and Tyson Forster, that they've been playing really well together. Josh Roy, who started the tournament on the first line, he's now on the third line with Ridley Gregg and William Dufour. And then they got Coyle. They just took the graphic off. Thanks a lot, TSN. I was trying to do a broadcast here, but the other four forwards, I think, are just going to mix up in the third line as the 13th forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how those guys play together. It looks as though McTavish and Bedard can definitely play together. They're not having any issues there. I think they're just trying to find that left winger for them. And it looks like Othman might be the guy. He was a first-round pick by the Rangers a couple of seasons ago now. And I think he's one of those guys who can definitely create a ton of offense just with the right guys. So we'll see. Aaron Murphy's checking in from Estevan. Aaron, how's it going, man? He says, I'm finding it hard to get into, especially when Canada's walking all over every team so far. I mean, that happens in every World Juniors, though, for the most part. They don't usually beat Slovakia 11-1, especially in recent years. Slovakia has really been picking it up. Canada's got the black and red jerseys on today. Love that combination. Shout out to my fantasy baseball team, by the way, the Wheat Sox, as I lubricate my voice box. Sean Butcher said, definitely hyped, even though I know Canada is going to destroy them. Okay, that's fair. And I mean, that's just Canadian hockey fans, I think, for the most part. Will usually get invested emotionally in a hockey tournament like this. Anytime there's a best on best tournament, it usually goes pretty well. Dylan's mentioning, by the way, folks, THPN is giving away a $200 NHL gift card to a random subscriber at 3,000 subscribers to this channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. I know I have. I'd be down to win $200. So Dylan, put my name on the list if you don't mind. I would definitely be interested in that. Get myself a jersey or something. Which jersey would you buy if you just had $200 pop up into your account? Would you buy a jersey? Whose jersey would it be? And let me know why. I would probably buy. Who's next on my list? I think I have most of my Leaf boys. I've got most of them. I have Morgan Riley. I have Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. I might get a Michael Bunting jersey. Maybe a Michael Bunting jersey might be my next investment. Is that a bad choice? Why is that a bad choice, co-host who hasn't been named yet? We'll talk about it later. Overrated. Oh, you're overrated. Scott says, I'm super pumped now. Now wired, but not unfamiliar. I play a lot of hockey in the summer. That's fair. I think I get what you're saying. Not everybody can get into hockey before hockey starts. I know that one thing with me is I find as soon as I start playing, I mean, now I'm a little bit older, but usually for me, it was as soon as I started playing NHL 20 or NHL 19 or whatever year it was, as soon as I started playing, that's when I got into hockey season. So it usually started before the season, but not that much before the season. Dylan says, lubricate my voice box. Hell of a phrase. Hey, when you're in the industry, voice boxes need to be lubricated. Juke Nevix. I hope I'm saying that right. That's a great name. This is going to be a really close game. I sure hope so. I mean, that would make this stream a whole lot more fun, wouldn't it? Jacob says he would be buying a Jack Eichel jersey with $200 free, and he's a big Vegas Golden Knights fan, so that does not surprise me. Dylan Kaiser says a Goudreau Blue Jackets jersey. Got to get that one. It's brand new. Somebody said that's cringe. I'm pretty sure that was me saying I'd buy a Michael Bunting jersey. The Leafs friggin' blow. Matthews is gone next season. Well, here's the thing. He's under contract through next season. So he's not gone next season, unless they decide to trade him for some crazy reason. But I can't imagine that's going to be the case. Robin says he would buy an Ottinger jersey, a Ben jersey, or a Sagan jersey. I think you better go with Ottinger. I think that's the right choice, Robin. Yeah, you're struggling with the autocorrect there, Robin. You're struggling. The game is about to get underway. They're showing head coach Dave Cameron right now. It looks like they're starting with the Mason. Nope, that's not Mason McTavish. Who are they starting out there? It's hard to tell. I wish they would show Ridley Gregg. Ridley Gregg's line is starting. The third line, the energy line, is starting it off for Team Canada. Looks like Atu Rati's line is starting for Finland, and we're off. So that's obviously the big line for Finland out there right now with Kemel. I think it's Kemel, Hirvonen, and Rati, if I'm not mistaken. Just let me look at I have a list here. Yeah, Hirvonen with Rati and Kemel is the first line. And they're the big ones for Finland. As a Leafs fan myself, I'm very excited to see Roni Hirvonen. And it sounds like he's having a great tournament so far. A lot of people applauding him for his high motor. You got to love a guy with a high motor. Never a bad thing. Already starting a little bit of physicality. Ridley Gregg, for those of you who are, where did Ridley Gregg get drafted to? The Jets? Doesn't sound right. Ottawa, yes, of course. For those of you who are Senators fans, I have a feeling Ridley Gregg might be a fan favorite for you before too long if he gets into the lineup in the next year or two. I can't imagine he's going to get into the lineup this year, but in the next couple of years, I think you're going to like Ridley Gregg. Robin says, I miss the old game intros in the NHL series, not the pregame we have now. If you remember the NHL 2000 intro, specifically on PC, I don't know if they had the same intro on, what would it have been at the time? N64? NHL 2000? Sega? No, that was way past Sega. PS1? Either way, it was a song by Prodigy, I'm pretty sure. I think it was Prodigy, or was it Bush? I can't remember, but it was one of those like typical late 90s, early 2000s rock bands. And that one to this day, I think is the best NHL video game intro. Maybe outside of, I think it was NHL, I want to say 2002. And it was like Sum 41's Fat Lip was the song for it. And that was actually pretty bad. Maybe NHL 2004. Either way. What was your, I'm actually curious because this is one of my favorite topics and I could talk about this for hours. What was your favorite year of NHL game? So for me, it was probably NHL 2002. I have a weird sentimental connection to that one I got it at Christmas one year. I think that was the Jerome McGinley year, 2002, or is that 2004? So I'm talking 2004. Had a great, one of the best soundtracks of all time in that game series. So that one might be my favorite one, 2004 with Jerome McGinley on it. That was right during like when the Oilers and the Flames were really competitive. They went to back-to-back Stanley Cups those couple of years. Tons of fun. Obviously, the 2004 was the last year before the lockout. So that was another factor in that. NBA 2K is better than NHL 2K. Well, yeah, because NHL 2K doesn't exist anymore, Jacob. So I would think so. The NHL 2K series cannot be beat, says Sean. I remember playing NHL 2K. What one was it? With the Zamboni race in the intermission, you could drive the Zamboni and clean the ice. That was pretty, I like that. They should bring that back. They should sell that idea to EA so EA can put Zamboni driving back in the hockey video game world. We need Zamboni driving. Keenan's saying we're going to see overtime. I'd love to see it personally. I think we're in for a treat if this game lives up to everything that it should. I should turn the volume on so we can actually hear it and get some, I think they call it ambiance. Let's see if we can get this volume going here. There we go. And you guys can hear it. Let me know if you can hear the game audio. It's probably going to be subtle, but let me know if you can hear it. You good? You gonna slide in?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So you need to go like right here.
Right here?
There he is, Jeremy Corrigan, co-host, coming in here. We're gonna get some good discussion going on here as Jeremy gets settled in here. The world secret, top secret world.
Can you
project.
at least move?
Want me to move?
Well, no, I would like to see the chat.
Oh, well, you can log into the YouTube.
Sweet. I'll
just go open up the YouTube link there,
Okay, all right.
and you'll be able to see the chat as well.
Sorry, I'm new to this.
That's okay. StreamYard is great, but it's kind of hard to have two hosts
All right.
StreamYard.
Fair enough.
But yeah, if you open up the YouTube,
What do you
at THPN on YouTube.
Which, by the way, I did subscribe yesterday.
Oh, you could maybe win $200 gift card to NHL.
Oh.
Jeremy, if you had $200 to the NHL website, what jersey would you buy? And don't tell me Alex Auld, please.
I
Not
would.
Alex.
Well, no, I wouldn't say Alex Auld. I actually would probably go throughout the clearance section and try and get multiple jerseys for $200.
More than one. Now
I'm frugal.
That's thrifty.
Yeah, I'm frugal.
That's thrifty.
I liked what the one person said, and I actually kind of agree. I think I would probably go with the Johnny Gaudreau Columbus Blue Jackets.
The new CBJ jersey.
Only if it was the Cannon jersey, though.
I've been hearing a lot about the new.
How do I gotta mute this. Only if it was the
What are you
Cannon
doing
jersey.
over there?
I don't know.
I'm causing troubles.
I always am.
That's okay. I might hold out if I got the $200 gift card
Why?
and wait until the new reverse retro series comes out
Oh boy.
and just see who's out, like what the jerseys look like.
Do you think they're going to be better than last time, though?
A couple can't be. There was a couple that were just all-time greats. Like
Some
if you
were-
look at the Canucks retros that they had, Blasty for the Flames.
You liked the Canucks reverse retros? The gradients?
No, the gradients were terrible. I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm thinking that they're all of their anniversary jerseys that they came out with a couple of years ago. The Blade.
Oh yes. Oh, those are beautiful.
Best of all time.
Yeah, I bought that.
I heard that
right
they
away.
are doing the Johnny Canuck. Now, just I guess
No,
for reference, let's just introduce Jeremy here because some people who maybe have seen my streams in the past know that I'm a Leafs fan. I'm a host of the show called The Squadcast, which not necessarily existing anymore. It's still a thing, but we haven't done a show in a while.
It's been a hot minute, as the kids would say.
And I'm the producer of a show called The Rod Peterson Show in Saskatchewan. So we're both living in Saskatchewan right now. Kind of hot news if you know who Jeremy is. But Jeremy, maybe just let them know a little bit some of the basic info about yourself, maybe some of your hockey fandom stuff, stuff like that.
Well, I've been in broadcasting for 10 years, long time, but I got into it right at the age of 20. I mean, we met in the beautiful community of Estevan, Saskatchewan.
Metropolis.
Yeah, you worked for the team, and I was calling the games on the radio, and you were my color guy a bunch, which was fun.
Eventually, I got in there. That was fun.
Eventually, you got in there.
I still think back to those days fondly. I remember some of my first games doing color. My first one was in Nipawin, in the cage. And
you remember that.
I was terrified. That was a good play right there.
That was a better save.
Casper Pudio, former Swift Current Bronco holdout. I don't think he ended up going. No, he did go.
He did.
got
I was
traded.
going to say he did go.
He got traded to Everett or something like that. But yeah, I was in Nipawin, Saskatchewan at the Cage, which if you're not from Saskatchewan, Nipawin's like one of the awesome junior hockey rinks in Canada. Super old-fashioned, super old school.
Keenan asks, so if Canada were to lose, who would they play in the quarters?
Oh, good question.
They would play the winner of Sweden and Germany, which is the game
Tonight.
after tonight.
Yes, there you go. Stefan's saying shout out from Sweden.
Hey, shout out to Sweden.
I wish I knew some Swedish.
That's pretty
references.
Swede. I'm getting used to the streaming thing.
And that's all for us tonight,
Yeah,
folks.
geez.
No.
We're 5 minutes into the game.
Aaron Murphy has a good idea. Hold
Okay.
out and wait for a Connor Bedard NHL jersey with that gift card.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That could be a thing.
That's a really good idea. I like that a lot.
Team Canada needs a reverse retro. I would love them to do a World Junior tournament with all throwback jerseys. Every team has
That's a
throwback
great idea.
jerseys.
Maybe an anniversary year they'll do that.
Yeah.
Like one of the anniversaries of the
They
tournament.
ever say like this is the 87th? It's not 87 years. Hasn't been that long. But is this like the 35th anniversary of the World Juniors? I'm not sure.
Probably
I'm not sure. It's got to be
Probably
longer
longer than that. But
Aaron Murphy, I know you're not living in Estevan. You live in Regina. I'm saying you're from Estevan, which is where we know you from. That's why I said it earlier. He texted me. He's like, FYI, I'm not in Estevan. I'm living in Regina. I know.
so commercial break.
Sean Butcher said, what a pun.
Thank you, Sean. I was going to say Finland's buzzing. 5.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Keenan, I really wanted to see Kosa play. Kosa's really good, but Dylan Garand's much better, though. I mean, he was the CHL goalie of the year this past year.
He's earned the
He
big
was
game.
essentially Kosa is what Garand was last year.
Right.
He's 18, and he'll probably be the starting goalie for them when this tournament happens in 4 months.
In
again.
the
Yeah, it's 4
Christmas.
months
Yeah.
again. But I mean, both are really good.
Yeah, this is Garand's. Technically, he shouldn't. If this was just the tournament happening right now. He wouldn't be eligible to play
Correct.
this tournament. He's
Correct.
eligible because he was in the last tournament.
Yeah. And like for Dylan Garand too, this is his last sniff of anything junior hockey related because I mean he's going pro this year.
Yeah, he'll play with the Rochester Wolfpack, I would think. He's a New York Rangers
100%.
prospect. But yeah, I mean, Kosa's exciting. Anytime you see a goalie who's
so
6'6", or as Andrew Pearce said on the Rob Pearson show today, 6'6.5".
I during my travels in broadcasting, I worked in Grand Prairie and I saw him playing Bantam AAA hockey
Oh, really?
for the Fort Saskatchewan Rangers.
Oh yeah, good program.
He was that tall at 14.
Yeah, right.
Didn't know how anybody ever scored on him at that age. It's pretty impressive.
I remember.
There's
there
a
we
goal.
go. Now, who got that one?
Was that their first shot too?
It was a Bedard. He was out there.
That was
He
their
was in the
first.
slot.
That was their first shot of the game. No,
Othman. They're giving it to Othman.
I think he tipped it.
Yeah,
It's a high.
that was a good. There's a lot of traffic there.
Yes, sir.
We have to see how this all played out here.
I think it's just a
So
simple
hard
shot.
forechecking by Othman. Set it all up. Bedard gets it to the point. Is it Zellweger?
No.
Got the shot off, and then
Good
Othman
tip.
tipped it. Is that Zellweger? Yeah.
Yep. Ooh,
High stick. No.
that was close.
Are they looking at it?
Good tip. It was a good tip, Lane.
It was
Very
a good
good
tip.
tip. Now the question is it too high? Well, they're full arm hug.
they're really hugging it out.
That is a
They're really hugging it out.
a full arm hug.
There we go. I have the. Let me just get. Let's see here. Get the game information up there for you on the flash score screen on the right there. Sometimes it doesn't update. If you notice that this isn't updating, just let me know. Is there a betting odds for Latvia to win the whole tournament? If it is, it's good. You probably win a retirement fund if you bet on them to win. I'd imagine they're probably like plus 100,000 or something odds.
Oh,
That's fine. That should be okay.
I mean, call on the ice was a goal, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's proof that.
This won't give us a very good look at
No.
it. No, that's fine.
Lane, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Latvia has ever made it to the quarters. You are correct, Lane. That was their first ever win in the preliminary round, and this will be their first time ever going to the quarterfinals.
Can you see the stats? Yeah, Jacob, let me just see if I can pull it up here for you. You want this. You like this one, right, Jacob? It's a good look.
Yeah.
It's got the shots on goal and stuff.
Yeah, that's
You'll
good.
see it in a sec.
Oh, yeah, that's much better. I like
Yeah,
that.
shots on goal, face-off percentages, saves, power play stuff. Yeah, that's the way to go.
They're taking a long time.
Jacob, I haven't done this in a while. You have to remind me of some of this stuff. Thank you for that. I think plus 1,000 is a bit generous. For Latvia, I would almost guarantee you that if they had tournament odds to win the whole thing, that it's much higher than plus 1,000.
Another 8-minute review.
Oh.
We'll see. We should have started the timer, Murph.
We do have a timer somewhere.
I think it's good.
This screen
I don't
behind me
see
had a
what's
timer
on.
at some point.
I think it's a good goal.
I don't think there's enough there to overturn.
No, I don't. I agree with that.
Yeah, they've got to call that a goal. Let us know again, who are you interested in watching tonight? I know we've gotten a few comments already, but which players on the ice right now are you like, yeah, I'm excited to see this guy play? For me, like I said earlier, I want to see the Leafs prospects on Finland, Hirvonen and Niemela. And there's a couple players on Canada. I just want to kind of see what they've got. Ken Johnson being one of them. But here's the call. Yeah.
Good goal. Yeah, you're good. That's the right call.
It had to be. It had to be. Again, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the channel, and hit up DraftKings and use the promo code THPN
Yes.
for some sweet bonus prize bonuses when you sign up. I think you have to sign up for a new account in order to get it, but either way, go try the promo code. See what happens. See what happens. And as Dylan mentioned earlier, Dylan is one of the admins of the account here. If you subscribe and they hit 3,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, where is it? Here it is. A random subscriber will be getting a $200 NHL gift card. So the prompt and the question I'm asking you guys is, if you just got $200 dropped in your lap to buy a jersey, whose jersey would you buy for what team, et cetera, et cetera? What jersey would you be getting if you had $200? Canada's putting that pressure on now. Kent Johnson is going to be a huge piece for Columbus.
Sure is.
Like, I'm going to say maybe even as soon as this year.
Do you know what? They quietly have a nice forward group in Columbus now.
Especially after adding Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah.
They locked up Line for 4 years.
Yeah.
They just saw Ryan Hart. Oh, no, it wasn't Ryan Hartman. That's a different team. That's Minnesota. That's Minnesota.
You tried.
Boone Jenner is Roslovic had a breakout season. Boone Jenner is one of my favorite players to watch. Love that guy. I wish he was a Maple Leaf. Sorry for my bias to come out. But that guy could fit on any team. Like, he's like a Bo Horvat almost. Like, he could play on any team and be a great fit for a player of what he can bring to a team. Not many guys can do it.
Robin said, I'm interested in the performance of the officials. That's always an interesting thing to worry about during international hockey, because the rules are the same. It's just called a little bit differently, it seems.
Yeah. Really good play there by Cormier to like wait that one out, because he had a chance, but he waited a couple extra seconds. He almost had a really good opportunity there. Well, he did have a really good opportunity. What we're seeing in this last couple minutes is a lot more pressure by Canada after Finland came out to a hot start. And I think Canada's the type of team. Look at that, another one-timer.
That was a great save.
Canada's the type of team that if you're going to give them an inch, they're going to take it, and then they're not going to give it back to you. So I could see the next few minutes being all Canada. But I'll be interested to see. Did you guys pick Latvia as your underdog? I didn't.
I don't know if anybody did, to be honest with you.
Considering that they were like a throw-in to the tournament.
Well,
they didn't even technically qualify.
That's the thing is, technically they didn't even qualify. They weren't even, I think I saw today, they weren't even the top team in the division below.
Right. Yeah. They were.
So for them to come and finish third in their group, that's pretty incredible to think about. But they've played, even in their losses, like Canada only beat them 5-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're playing some good hockey. They're gonna, whoever they play in the quarterfinal, they're not gonna. It won't be an easy game.
No. Their goaltender's turning some heads.
Yes.
And he's not drafted. He's not property of any NHL team. He could be a guy that, through his performance in this tournament, earns himself a look. Maybe not a draft pick, but earns himself a look. And don't ask me to tell you what his name is, because I don't.
Or an invite, like an invite.
An invite to a camp or something. Yeah. That was a good chance a second ago too, by the way. 3-on-2.
Yeah. I've never been a big fan on a rush like that. The player comes in and to shoot wide like that, because you better make sure you miss the net, because if not, the other team can come back the other way.
It goes right the other way. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just going to pull up the rosters here again. So it looks like Pudio is playing with Yoni Yermo. And Jeremy, you're familiar with the name Yoni Yermo, because is he not a Canucks draft?
He is a Canucks.
Wasn't he their highest draft pick when they only had a 4th round pick a couple of years ago? Didn't they not have a pick until like the 4th round or something? And he was their pick. Am I getting that backwards?
No, I think you're right. And I know, looking at Canucks media, they've been impressed with his play in this tournament so far. I think his speed has been one of the things that really stands out for him. So, I mean, the Canucks don't have any prospects.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see someone is doing
they have
something.
quite a few players on the roster under the age of like 23. So
yes, well, that's the thing. They haven't had many prospects actually go through playing junior, then going to the American Hockey League, and then the NHL.
Right.
Whereas now you're seeing a lot of their prospects, like you mentioned, with like Horvat, Pedersen. Hughes is different with college, but a lot of those players are playing junior and then getting the chance to go and go straight to the NHL.
Yeah. And then they've been really good at getting the European guys coming over. Podkolzin, Hoglander, Kuzmenko, the new guy.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for because that's
and he's not young necessarily.
No, he's 26, I do believe.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is the interesting thing, I should say, with him is, they expect him to be a middle six forward, and he's on an entry level contract.
1 year though, right?
Yes, it's 1 year. So depending on how he performs, it's going to depend how that next contract is going to be.
Right.
But
it's kind of an Ilya Mikheyev situation. That's kind of how he came into the league.
Exactly.
I'm just relating that to myself. Hockey Life Tom says, I'm rooting for USA and Latvia because I'm American. I have to root for my country. You don't have to. You don't have to.
I mean,
you should, but
you don't have to, I guess. Yeah, you're right. You don't have to, but
you're right.
You should.
We are past the 10-minute mark here in the first period. 9:30 left in the first.
And honestly, kind of what I expected between Finland and Canada.
Yeah.
Not many shots.
Yeah, 5-4.
Finland. There's been a few good chances, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Is this updating? Oh yeah, I gotta update this a little bit more. I gotta keep this up.
Gotta hit the refresh button.
Gotta hit the refresh button here.
Oh, there's a penalty. That's Canada's headed to the power play.
That could be big. Now, if I do this, is that going to change it on there? Oh,
2 minutes for slashing.
A little bit. So let's do that. That should work. The slashing penalty going on. So Canada's getting the power play. So we're going to see Connor Bedard go to work. Power play specialist. It should be interesting. Now, Finland's always been a good penalty killing country, just in general. I want to say a lot of their players that they do graduate end up becoming pretty good penalty killers. I think of a guy, he's a little bit older now, but Jonas Donskog, really good penalty killer. Mikael Granlund, sometimes penalty kills, even though he's more of a skilled guy. There's a lot of good penalty killers. Leo Komarov. Find me a better penalty killer over the last decade than Leo Komarov.
Well, and I think one thing that'll always help your penalty kill, though, too, is, Finland arguably produces the most goaltenders for the NHL, too. And guess what? Goalies usually got to be your best penalty killer.
That is exactly the case.
But that was good.
You look at some of the best goalies in the league right now, I would say you could probably put 3 Finnish goaltenders probably in the top, at least in the top 10.
Yep.
UC Saros has got to be one of the most underrated goalies, I think, in the NHL. And for years, obviously, Tuukka Rask was there.
They've always
had good guys.
Finland has always been known as a country that really does a great job developing their goalies.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good job.
Ranta for years was a solid goalie. He still is a solid goalie, Antti Ranta. But there is, there's a lot of.
Well,
Finland does it well.
This penalty kill's been outstanding.
Yeah, it's barely been in Finland's end.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point by Mike Johnson there on the TSN broadcast.
They're just blanketing him.
Yeah.
There's a goal.
That was quite the play.
Well, I think the goalie went for the poke check.
Yeah.
It scooted up on his stick. It rolled up. And then as a result, the puck just bounced off a body and went right in front, and that's an easy tap in.
Tyson Forster gets the goal there. And it was interesting, too, because it was Ridley Gregg. We talked about him earlier. He's going to be a fan favorite in Ottawa before too long.
Yep.
And he basically just like bull in a china shop this one. Went through everybody. And then there was just so much traffic that Forster just kind of jumped in there. Split the D, but didn't have control. Just kind of put it out in front, and they cleaned it up.
That was sloppy by Finland.
Yeah.
Very
absolutely.
sloppy.
Finland's goalie tonight is Levi Merilainen. Insert here another Ottawa Senators prospect.
Really?
Yeah. I remember that. I remember a good buddy of mine, LeBlanc James, on TikTok was pretty pumped about Levi Merilainen.
I mean, Ottawa's got a lot of good prospects right now.
Yeah. Mads Sogard, another big, tall goaltender.
And then they also have Zach Ostapchuk, who's playing on the fourth line for Team Canada.
Yeah. So they're feeling themselves right now in Ottawa. They're loving their prospect group that they got coming up and that they already have. They already have a ton of young guys as well. Mm-hmm. After this, I'm moving on to the NFL season, says Hockey Life Tom. I think a lot of people are probably planning on doing that. It's so weird for me that the World Juniors is happening as NFL preseason is kicking off. It's definitely a weird feeling.
Or the fact that the World Juniors are on and we can look outside and just see a sunny day that's almost 30 degrees.
Yeah, it is hot. I don't know where you guys live, but in Saskatchewan, Canada right now, it is, this last like
It's
week,
cooking.
It's been very hot. The air conditioners have been working. Make sure you guys let us know actually where you are watching from. Let me know. Put in the comments your city. I've seen some people from Sweden coming in here. We had somebody from Latvia pop in a minute ago. So say where you're watching from. I'm very curious.
That's really cool what Lane just said. From what I heard, Sweden tried to mimic Finland's goalie development strategy, seeing the success they've had in developing goalies.
And it's worked too, because now they have Jesper Wallstedt, who's arguably the best goalie in this tournament. They've had a couple guys get drafted lately as well.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Hildeby got drafted by the Leafs in the 4th round. Another tall goalie, 6'6", but he's 20, so he's not eligible for this tournament. That's how old he is. But yeah, he's another guy. Sweden's been pushing some goalies out lately, which is good. Those Scandinavians.
Good at hockey.
Good at hockey. Yeah. Jazz is from Vancouver. We got Dylan from Vancouver Island. Great breweries in Vancouver Island, from what I've heard and had and tested. But yeah, let us know where you're watching from. We got a couple people chiming in.
I was going to say that looked offside.
Looks like we might go to a commercial break. We're going to hit a commercial break also. It's just a minute long, so stick around. We'll be right back for the rest of the first period, and then we'll get into the intermission as well, where we'll have to get some interesting conversations going. So we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and the game is underway. What timing that commercial break had as we come back immediately as the puck is dropped. They were just showing Tyson Forster, Philadelphia Flyers prospect. Are there any Flyers fans here tonight? And if so, I'm sorry. You're going through some stuff right now. It might get better. John Tortorella's there. At the very least,
It'll be interesting.
it'll be interesting.
It'll be entertaining.
Yeah, at the very least, even if it comes from entertainment through misery.
I want to see the content produced by the Flyers social team between John Tortorella and Gritty.
Oh, can we? Can they do a podcast together? I'd love to see it, or watch it, or listen. What would it be about? What would they talk about? Maybe they do projects together, like cooking. Maybe they could cook a cake, bake a cake, or something like that. Cook a stir fry.
Maybe.
I'd watch. Robin Wildy's watching from Paradise. Got to get the meatloaf on the smoker. Fair enough. Jacob's watching from NS Canada, which I can only assume is Nova Scotia. I'm assuming it's Nova Scotia. Have you ever been to the Maritimes?
I haven't. That's actually the one place in Canada I haven't been.
I have been at least touched foot on every maritime province at some point. Pretty lucky.
That is very lucky.
Baseball tournament when I was 12 in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Baseball tournament when I was a little older in Summerside, Prince Edward Island. That was the nationals for when I moved to Regina. And then the Canada Summer Games in 2009 was in, where was it? St. John? Fredericton?
Sure.
Somewhere around there. I know that they don't like it when you mix up the cities and stuff over in the Maritime, but it was in the Maritime. I'm pretty sure it was in. Where are you guys from? Hearing the accent from you guys. Donnell, how's it going, Donnell? I'm from Saskatchewan. Jeremy was born here.
Yeah, I wasn't born in Saskatchewan at all, but
Nope.
Canada
in general. I would say that Saskatchewan and BC generally have different accents, but not that different. Not that different, depending on what parts of the province you're from. Donnell, where are you from, Donnell? You're from down south, aren't you? I'm pretty sure you are, because we've talked a little bit in the past. Donnell, I'm pretty sure you're from down south in the States. The southern states, if I'm not mistaken. Or New York. Maybe you're from New York, Donnell. You tell me. Why am I telling you? You tell me. So Finland's putting on a little bit of pressure again here.
Canada's just collapsing.
They're just doing they're just putting a box in the middle there.
Oh, that was a good save.
Blocking the shooting lanes. That was a good save. That was actually a good play by Finland as well to actually get the puck through. There we go. They kept it in. See, this is where Finland can come because they're hardworking. They're such a good country at keeping the puck in, just putting pressure on.
You were right. New York. You got it.
Donnell's from New York. I had a feeling.
Good.
I had a feeling. Bedard. Are you kidding me?
Oh man.
This is what Connor Bedard does.
He's so good.
This is what he does. I haven't seen a player recently that can literally just walk over the blue line and score from anywhere.
Well, at this level.
Yeah. Specifically. There's obviously some NHLers are pretty good at it. But
yeah.
Watch this, man. I didn't even see this developing and he scored.
It wasn't. It was just
top of the circle.
High glove.
On a bouncing puck. He corralled it. That's just ridiculous.
Gosh.
That's just ridiculous. Get that updated on there for you.
He's so good.
Let's just look at the stats over here really quick. So first goal was Brennan Othman from Zellweger and Bedard. Obviously, Bedard passed it to the point. Zellweger took the shot.
Yeah.
Othman tipped it. Second one was Tyson Forster from Ridley Gregg. And is it Lucas Cormier? I think it's Lucas. That was on the power play. And this last one, Bedard from McTavish and Cormier. But let's be honest, that was all Bedard. That was ridiculous. Oh, that was ridiculous. So for reference, right now we are in Regina, home of the Pats, which Connor Bedard plays for. I saw this kid for the first time when he was 15 playing in that bubble hub city.
Yeah,
during COVID. So there was 7 or 8, I guess, WHL teams here in the city. They all played at the same rink.
Yep.
That was the whole season. Connor Bedard at that time, everyone always asked me, like, is he that good? Like, what kind of play? What's he like? And this was as a 15-year-old, when he wasn't even – he's way better now. It's ridiculous. But I always said he's got Austin Matthews' shot with Connor McDavid's playmaking sense and like IQ.
HQ.
And he's stronger than he looks, is what I always said. He's not the fastest player. He's definitely very skilled. He'll
get there. I mean, at the end of the day, he's 17.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's got a lot of development left, which is scary. But he's not necessarily the fastest player.
Yeah.
He's not the biggest player. Like when you look at Matthews, let's say, for example, he's a brute.
Sure.
Like he's 6'3", 220 or whatever. McDavid is tall. He's not.
Yep. Right.
He's not stocky.
No, Connor. Yeah, Bedard's only about 5'10".
Yeah. So on a good day, and he's 180 maybe. But man, is he efficient?
I like Robin's comment. Connor will turn around the Coyotes so quick. The new rink in Tempe will be called The Bedard barn.
I like it. The Connor
It-
Barndard.
I'm curious who is where he's going to end up.
Well, the hard part is that I get that question sometimes. Like, who's going to get?
I mean, it's so hard to
Yeah, it's
predict, right? You don't know. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, there's teams like Robin mentioned, like Arizona's not going to be good next year. Chicago was obvious that they got rid of almost everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They are not going to be good next year. But the thing is with the NHL is, yeah, there will be a few teams that are you can
There's a lottery
that you know are going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But then there's teams that you don't know, and then like you said, there's a lottery.
A couple of years ago, the Rangers were like the 14th team, and they won the lottery and got Lafreniere.
Correct.
Or whatever.
But the other thing is that's not possible anymore.
Right, they changed that.
Because they changed the rules. You can only move up 5 spots?
Yeah,
4 or 5 spots now.
Yeah.
So
I think it's 5 spots.
It'll be interesting to see.
You have to think Arizona's there. I think Seattle's going to be better. I've heard some people say that they're going to get Wright, Beniers, and Bedard for their first 3 first-round picks. I don't know if Seattle's going to be.
They're going to be much better.
I think they'll be much better, especially if they're going to bring along Shane Wright and Matty Beniers this year. That'll infuse them with some interesting skill.
There was a lot of improvement in that division this offseason.
Yeah.
A lot of improvement.
LA's looking dangerous. I like them. I still think LA's got something left. Like, I think they're going to make a splash. I've been saying this for a while, but when you have, remember, okay, so me and Jeremy went to the 2019 NHL draft in Vancouver, which was a blast.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
But do you remember how many draft picks LA had that every single time they picked, you and I were like, uh-oh.
That was a good shot.
Every time LA made a pick, we were like, oh, it's a good player. Arthur Kaliev, they picked that year. Samuel Fujimo, they picked that year, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
How did that develop?
This goal.
That was a perfect shot.
Sammy Hellenius, a Panthers prospect.
Perfect shot, just over Garand's shoulder.
Big old centerman, and I think it fluttered. I think he whiffed on it a little bit. It got
deflected. You're right. You are very right.
Good play, though.
I think that's what caught Garand off.
Skate.
Oh, it went off a skate. That's why.
Yeah.
That's tough, especially in tight like that.
Sammy Hellenius is a 6'6" centerman prospect for the Florida Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. I should get this up.
Don says, is this young man Bedard is supposed to be the number 1 pick in next year's draft? Yes. Yeah. He's pretty much.
Peter Labardius, a good friend of mine who was on the show that I produce every day. He's a big junior hockey guy. And the other name that everyone's talking about is Matvey Michkov, who's Russian.
Right.
Same age, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think about a year ago, it was pretty split between Michkov and Bedard.
I don't think it's close anymore, though.
No. Well, and here's where I'm getting at, too, is that with Russia's junior hockey bans, they're not at these World Juniors. They're not going to be at the next one either. I don't think.
Right.
So Michkov is missing out on 2 golden opportunities to kind of prove himself on this scale. And he's not going to get those back. So I think Bedard, with what he's doing in this tournament right now and what he's going to do in the next tournament is just, I think he's separating himself a little bit. And it's not even Michkov's fault.
I don't even think a little bit.
A lot? Yeah.
There's
another player, too, for Slovakia.
Right. Yes.
Zadorsky or whatever his name is. Let me look it up. I want to get his name right.
He didn't have a good tournament for them either.
No.
He's again going to play at the 1. That's the scary thing is we are going to see Bedard here, and then we're probably going to see him. We're going to see him at the World Junior again in December. So.
Here it is. Dalibor Dvorsky. That's the kid's name. 6'1", 190 pounds, which is a great build for a 17-year-old. And he's the other kid that they're really hyping up quite a bit to be maybe top 3.
Oh, why wouldn't you just let the clock run?
0.3.
Well, then it's because the net's off. That's why.
So, yeah, I'll let it go. But yeah, so those are the three guys.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bedard going to be the number one? As of right now, I think it's as about definitively yes as you can get. Nothing can change. We saw Shane Wright. He was a definitive number one, and he didn't end up going number one. Now, I think it's different.
100%. They're completely different players. Like, I think when the World Juniors was supposed to happen in December, Shane Wright was on the team with Connor Bedard, and quite frankly, Connor Bedard looked better than Shane Wright.
Looked way better.
Yeah. I think if Connor Bedard was eligible this past year in the NHL draft, you could make an argument he'd probably go number one.
I would have loved to see it, to see what would happen.
Anyways, we're in the intermission now.
Yeah, intermission. You know what? Let's take a quick commercial break so we can take a breather, grab some water, and we'll be right back. And send in your questions, actually. While we're in this commercial break, if you guys don't mind, we got 22 people in here. If everybody could send in a question or a topic, it can be junior hockey. Let's open it up to NHL talk as well. Anything you guys want, throw it in the comments, and when we get back, we'll go over some of the best questions during the intermission. But until then, we'll see you in about a minute and a half. All right, and we're back, and we were going to check in on some of your comments, so make sure you guys blow up the comments right now with what you would like to talk about. Let's just do a quick period recap. Shots on goal were 10-10. Let's just make sure that that's fully updated. Shots on goal were 10-10. Obviously, the saves were 9-7. Finland took a penalty. Canada did not. Canada scored on the power play. Finland didn't have one to score on. So Canada's shooting at 100% right now. Face-offs are even, dead even. So that's really interesting as well. 50-50 on face-offs. Quickly, your thoughts, Jeremy. Let's go over this on the period as a whole. And then we'll get into maybe looking ahead to the rest of the game here. What do you think of the period as a whole?
Slow start.
Yeah.
I mean, the first commercial break, 5.5 minutes in, it was all Finland. And then I think the fact that Canada scored on their first shot, really, obviously, that gave them a spark, and they kind of controlled the rest of that period. Fortunate bounce on that second goal on that power play. I think it was a little sloppy by Finland on the penalty kill. And, you can't really do much on that Connor Bedard goal because he just comes in and wires a perfect shot. But I think the fact that Finland got a goal in the last minutes, I don't know if it was like this for when you played hockey back in the day, but I know all my coaches I ever had, they hated it if you allowed a goal in the first minute, and I hated it when you allowed one in the last minute. So we'll see if that last goal kind of gives Finland a little bit of momentum going into the second.
Yeah, the last minute thing is a big deal. Absolutely. So, Connor Bedard, they're interviewing him now. There's only a couple of players that I watch on a regular basis that when they score, it literally just makes me go, like, come on.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews is one of them, and I've seen a lot of his goals, obviously, because he scores a lot. So I've gotten a good sample size. But the way Connor Bedard just is able to score from anywhere is just ridiculous. They just showed it again. And that goalie is not a bad goalie. He made him look dumb. Like, that should have been a savable shot.
Well, look how he's a good 2 feet outside the crease too.
Yeah, and he saw the shot. There wasn't traffic.
Yeah.
He saw it the whole way. Now, maybe the the defenseman's stick or something made him think twice about it. But 99% of players, that's a save. Not with Connor Bedard.
Yeah,
it's just that's how he is. So that's some quick thoughts. Obviously, Finland made it a little closer with a goal from Sami Helenius on that little flutter shot. But so far, there was a good 15 minutes of all Canada there.
Yep.
In that
Yeah,
period.
it was really Finland, the beginning and the end. They
Yeah.
bookended that period, and then the whole entire middle was Canada. And I mean, you can't fault Dylan Garand either on that.
There are a few questions that we will now get to here. If you do have more questions, please send them in for the intermission here. We're going to get to all your questions. You guys are driving the intermission. Number one, we'll go with Donnell. Have you seen the Aesthetics? Now, say that. That's a tough word to say. Aesthetics YouTube channel about the leaks for the reverse retro jerseys.
I haven't. I honestly haven't.
There's been a couple of leaks. It sounds like Calgary might be going with Blasty again.
Well, what else would they go with?
I was thinking they should go with the old school Atlanta Flames look. I would have loved that.
Okay, fair.
The Atlanta Flames obviously moved to Calgary. It's just that really, really buy into the gold and red.
I see what you're you mean the orangey red?
I'm thinking their 80s jerseys.
Oh, okay.
That they kind of use a little bit now. They've gone back to that red and gold look. Right. But if they even bought more into the gold, I'd be interested to see what they could do with the Flames jersey. It looks like the Buffaloes are going with the Slug again, the Buffa Slug.
The Buffa Slug.
The Buffa Slug.
You know what? I didn't hate that jersey.
Last year's Buffalo jersey?
No, the
original Buffalo jersey?
Yeah, the original.
The black, silver, and red?
Yeah, why don't you just go back to the Buffalo?
To me, well, so last year they went with the blue and gold look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. I like that look. The blue, some of their powder blue jerseys, I love. Some of my favorite jerseys in the NHL. I would love to see them go straight back to the Danny Briere, Dominic Hasek, black, silver, and red. Yeah, go with that.
Just go all in on that. Those are very nice jerseys.
Some of the other ones that I've seen, Donnell, maybe correct me if you remember some of these other leaks, but they've said the Canucks are going with Johnny Canuck, which from what I've heard, not very many Canucks fans are excited about that.
No.
They're going with
if that's the case, that's a really bad decision.
They're going with the early 2000s color scheme, but with Johnny Canuck on it. That's what I've seen. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. The blue look more than not the black, not the Canucks like the Dan Cloutier Canucks era color scheme.
Oh, okay.
I meant the
I was those were
late 2000s color scheme.
Oh, okay. So the blue and green. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's still terrible.
I said that incorrectly. Yeah.
Because how is that any different than essentially the jerseys that they have for their American Hockey League team in Abbotsford?
Well, that's what Blake Price on Sekeres Price. I saw a clip of them talking about it. They're Vancouver reporters, and that's what they said isn't that what Abbotsford is supposed to be now? And you're taking it from them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
it makes that doesn't make sense.
Now, is that leak 100% confirmed that it's going to be the Canucks jersey? I don't know. We'll see. There's a couple other ones too that I saw. I'm trying to think now. If you guys again remember, let me know what you've seen. What do you guys think the Red Wings sweaters will look like? The Red Wings are a tough one because they've never changed their jerseys. There's always been exactly the same.
Yeah,
pretty much. So I would just say go super, super, super old fashioned. Go with maybe Detroit diagonally on the jersey or something like that, and go with that.
That'd be a tough one
because you can't really do much with Detroit.
I mean, they've always been red and white.
With one stripe along
red and white
along the stomach, right? Yeah. So I would say go super old school with Detroit. Maybe really stripy. Didn't they have a really stripy jersey way back in the 20s or something? Like a way long time ago.
That was a bit before my time.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Fair enough. Okay, Donnell says the leaks I saw said Canucks. The Oilers were going to go back to the oil drop. Those
are good ones.
Yeah,
those are good ones.
That should be good. The Blackhawks, I think they were going with a stripy edition of their jersey, more or less. The Lightning, I didn't see what they were doing. Elaborate on what you saw with them. The Sharks were going to bring back these Oakland Seals jerseys, California Seals.
No way.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Love that.
The Sharks are going to wear Seals jerseys. I thought that was really interesting. The Devils, I think from what I saw, they were going to wear Kansas City Scouts colors, the blue and the, what are they, blue and yellow, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
They're original.
Those are good ones too.
And the Islanders are bringing back the Fishermen.
Yeah, I like that
which
too.
makes sense. I'm surprised they didn't last time.
Yeah, that's a little weird that they didn't.
So that should be good. We got some more questions coming in, and Jeremy, I'm going to let you go off a little bit on this one. I just want to make sure I don't miss any other ones before this, though. Maybe we'll go with this one first. What are your thoughts on the Oilers going back to their retro look again? I never liked the Oilers wearing the orange jerseys as a home jersey at all. It was very weird. I'm going to immediately say yes. The blue jerseys are way better. The blue Oilers jerseys with the orange shoulders are way better than the orange with the blue, if you ask me.
Okay.
And I'm interested to see how they come out with that oil drop jersey. Are they going to go black again like they had at that time, or are they like?
But it wasn't. Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't black. It was
More
just
of a
really,
navy.
really
Yeah.
dark blue.
Yeah. Or are they going to try to do their new color scheme with the oil drop? Like, are they? Or sorry, they're kind of old school.
I hope
color
not.
scheme.
I hope they literally just go back to the oil drop
Bring back.
the exact same way it was.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, there was nothing wrong with it.
No.
I don't know. I honestly
I like
don't understand why they got rid of it in the first place.
I think one thing teams think too much about is how a team performed with that jersey, and then they want to rebrand.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a very fair point.
That jersey, I think, reminds a lot of people of losing the Stanley Cup. Now they were good, so I mean they shouldn't look at that as like a failed era, but I think they just wanted to rebrand and they tried to go back to that other look. And I don't know. I like the oil drops. This is one for you now, Jeremy. I'm going to let you go off here. Dylan Kaiser, Canucks in the playoffs? That's it. That's the whole question. Canucks in the playoffs. Now, you said earlier the Pacific Division is different.
So different.
Especially now with Robin Lehner being out for Vegas. But
yeah, I forgot about that.
That's interesting.
Well, who's going to be their goalie?
Vancouver or Vegas?
Oh, Vegas. Who's
right now it's
Logan
Thompson. No, Logan Thompson signed with the Leafs.
Don't they have Brossois though?
Brossois, Comrie?
Yes, you're right.
Eric Comrie and Michael Hutchinson.
I mean, you laugh. There's your answer. I mean, originally I thought Vegas would bounce back and be probably a wild card team.
Yeah.
Because I think in that division, I think Edmonton's probably going to win that division, be near the top. I still think Calgary's a playoff team.
I definitely think Calgary.
I don't see, in my opinion, 1 through 6. I think they have the best blue line in the NHL.
Calgary?
Yeah. It's hard to argue.
Especially with Uyghur.
That's what I mean. With their depth, I don't know. To me, when I saw that trade for the Tkachuk-Huberdeau trade, instantly I thought that Calgary team is now – that's a Daryl Sutter team.
Yeah.
They are going to play a lot of games that are going to end 2-1 and 3-2, and that's the way Daryl likes it. Because remember when they won game 1 against the Oilers and they won 9-7 and how mad he looked?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not his type of hockey. So I think this team is definitely now kind of his. But I still think they're a playoff team. LA got better. The only question I kind of have for them is really in net.
Yeah. Is Cal Peterson going to take another step in his career, or is it going to be, is Jonathan Quick still hanging on by a thread?
Yeah.
So I think that is definitely a big question mark.
And then, I mean, San Jose is not going to be great. Anaheim probably won't be great again. And then that comes to the Canucks, and I think they're a lot better. Their depth up front's a lot better than it was last year. Like going into what they have right now, if no other trades happen, like their forward group's solid. But they didn't make any changes on the blue line, and that was a problem. But I'm curious to see how they will be on a full year of Bruce Boudreau, because their record after he took over, if you do the math and do it over an 82 game season, that's an 100-point team.
Yeah, which is good.
That's a playoff team, right?
Last I checked.
That's a playoff team.
Yeah.
If I put betting odds on it right now, honestly, as if they went into the season with the exact same team or the team right now that they have and they don't make any more moves, I don't know, maybe 50-50.
Yeah,
it's a
tough.
coin flip because that
Seattle's not making it. They might push, but
they're
not
better,
making it.
but they're not that much.
No,
better.
Arizona's in the Central now, right? They're not in the Pacific anymore. And then you got the two other California teams that aren't anywhere close. So three of the 8 teams don't have a chance of playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Seattle comes out and completely surprises all of us. But San Jose's not making the playoffs. Anaheim's not making the playoffs. So to me, it's going to depend on if Vegas gets some sort of goaltending. Now, I made a mistake earlier. I said Logan Thompson signed with the Leafs on a PTO. That was Dylan Ferguson. Remember Dylan Ferguson?
Yes.
He signed with the Leafs, not Logan Thompson.
Fair enough.
Logan Thompson's still there. So I think it's Logan Thompson, Comrie, and Hutchinson. I don't know if they have Brossoit anymore. I think
I
Comrie
thought they signed him to a 2-year
Let me
contract.
look. This will help
Anyways.
us if we know for sure.
Anyways, regardless, they still have some issues in that. And I
They
think
do have Brossoit.
I think for Vegas, because of all those big contracts that they have, I question their depth too, right?
Mm-hmm. As of right now, on Cap Friendly at least, they're not showing a single goalie on the roster.
That's always good.
Brossoit is on LTIR at the moment.
Right.
And then they have Thompson and Hutchinson. They don't have Comrie. Comrie signed somewhere else. Where did Comrie sign? He signed somewhere. I remember seeing it that somebody gave him a chance.
Who, Comrie?
Eric Comrie, yeah. Ooh,
Well, he got a 2-year deal somewhere. I remember that because Winnipeg didn't want to give him 2 years.
Buffalo.
There it is.
Buffalo signed him. There we go. We're figuring all these things out. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think
I put it at a coin flip. I really do because
between those two teams, for that 4th spot. I think.
Well, but you also have to remember there's wild cards. Like it's the top 3 in each division.
I guess 5 teams could make.
And then it's 2 wild cards, right?
Yeah, in the Central.
And the Central's in. Well, yeah,
the Central's a whole nother intermission, I think. But
yeah, we could dive into that. But right now, I put it at 50-50.
Yeah.
Because if they play the way that they did under Bruce last year, and they continue that with a full training camp and everything like that, like they could be. They could be.
Yep. I think they could be.
It's just a weird. It's a weird team because they came out in the offseason. They're like, we definitely need to improve our blue line, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
But like, you are going to improve it by putting in Jack Rathbone on the blue line. You know,
I'd like to see Luke Shen in a more prominent role. He might have to play a little bit more of a prominent role too, especially if Tucker Pullman's hurt. Because I heard that Tucker Pullman's still struggling a little bit, but he might be ready.
But they were saying if he's healthy, then
so we'll see.
TBD.
I definitely like Vancouver, and if they can channel the Canucks from a couple of years ago when they won that 1st round and got into the 2nd round, I don't see why they couldn't.
I don't know if you can compare those teams though.
Different, slightly different. But Thatcher Demko is, to me, I think he's inching his way into the top 5 goalie conversation in the NHL.
Oh, 100%.
And
if you have a goalie, you're always going to have a chance with a goalie like that. So.
Yeah. One more before we get back to the game, which has just started back up, by the way. Lane asks, what do you make of Canada's goaltending situation in a best-on-best tournament? Who would start? Who would you be comfortable going into the tournament with as the backup starter and reserve? And I think he's talking about like Olympics, like not juniors. So if there was an Olympics right now, who would be your starter, backup, reserve? Do you want to jump in right now, or should I?
That's a tough one.
About a year ago, I put out a video on my TikTok channel, by the way, Producer Clark on TikTok. You'd have to scroll way back because it was like a year ago now. But I said that it would still be Carey Price. Now, again, this was before all the injury stuff with him happened.
Maybe Lane can confirm if that's what he meant.
Do
you mean Team Canada at the Olympics best on best or World Juniors best on best? Oh, there's a goal.
There's a goal.
What did I say? Allowing a goal in the 1st minute.
That's exactly what you just said. Last minute, 1st minute.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to double check, Lane. So he didn't
Olympics. Okay.
Okay, let's look at this goal though first.
So that was number 17. That is Ridley Gregg. He is all over this game.
He's been really
I
good.
think we've talked more about Ridley Gregg than almost anyone in this game.
He's been really good.
Again, he's going to be a fan favorite if you're a Senators fan.
That was a really bad rebound.
Really good effort goal, though.
Really
Look at
bad
that.
rebound.
Look at that.
How does a rebound go off the left side of your body, but then
End up on the right.
on the right into the slot?
He was trying to snag it, and it bounced out. Ridley Gregg is making an impression. And I've already seen him before. I knew what kind of player he was because I've seen him live.
He's had a really good time.
But he is going to be one of those ball
4
busters.
goals on 12 shots.
Yeah, you got to be better.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah. You got to be better.
Didn't expect that. So Lane did mean that.
Okay, so this was where I was at a year ago. I said that Carey Price would still be the starting goalie. That scares me now. But if he's healthy, I think he still puts up a fight for it. I think he's earned the opportunity to be in the 3 at least with his career if he's healthy. If he says, yeah, I'm good to go, you give him the top 3 spot and then you see what happens. A year ago, I was saying Mackenzie Blackwood might have been one of the guys. And then Carter Hart. But all 3 options now kind of scare me a little bit as of this last season or so.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
a
guess,
really good question, Lane. I would say, because I think the original question was, would I feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Would I be comfortable
be
going
comfortable
into
going
the tournament
into
with the starter backup? No, absolutely not. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, no. I mean, think about some of these other countries and the goalies they throw out. The states.
The States have 3 starters that would
my-
start on any other team, I think.
The States have some unbelievable goaltending options.
Yeah. Gibson, Hellebuck, Demko. That's all you need.
Campbell, even Campbell.
Jack Campbell's in the conversation. So here's Canadian goalie. Here's quant hockey. If you don't know what quant hockey is, if you're ever looking for provinces, players from provinces or states or countries, quant hockey is the place to go. They're listing, now this is by games played, Marc-Andre Fleury, Carey Price, Mike Smith, Brian Elliott, Braden Holtby, James Reimer, Jonathan Bernier, Cam Talbot, Martin Jones, and Jake Allen as the top 10 goalies with experience for Canada. Marc-Andre Fleury,
I think Fleury would be the only option.
I think you'd probably go Fleury.
Fleury would be the only option.
Holtby's retiring from all accounts that I've heard.
Yeah.
Brian Elliott's past what he was. Mike Smith is the same conversation as that. If Carey Price is healthy, like I said, I think he at least deserves a shot. Darcy Kemper is right on the outside of that top 10. He might be a guy,
actually,
given that he just won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, but even Darcy Kemper, I wouldn't be.
And then you look at Matt Murray. I'm just going to keep reading names.
Carter
Hutton.
Remember when goaltending in Canada used to be it used to be really high strength.
Guaranteed.
It used to be a strength
Waugh, Brodeur. That's all you needed.
Yeah, but then even after that, then you had, from 2000 to 2010, you were Canadian goaltending.
Late 90s.
Unreal. Yeah, late 90s all the way till 2010.
Yeah.
But then even in 2010, Luongo was great at the Olympics.
Luongo, of course. Yeah.
And then 2014, that's when Price took over and
Fleury was always there.
He was great too. And Fleury was always good too.
That's a good conversation though. And I think that's a scary one for Canadian hockey fans to kind of come to terms with, is that I don't think we are comfortable with our goaltending in this country right now. One name that I'll just throw out there, Tristan Jarry has been quite good in the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad one.
Maybe he fights for a spot.
It's not a bad one.
Outside of that, man, it's not what it was. And like you just said, it used to be you wouldn't have any questions.
It was loose.
That's why they didn't.
That's fair. Good eyes, but that's why they're repping the game, not us.
Yeah. But it went from a thing where you have Hall of Famers every year for Canada to a point where we're not sure anymore, especially with the injury status of a couple guys. If Carey Price hasn't been hurt the last couple of years, no brainer. Marc-Andre Fleury, I think as of right now, he would be the starter.
Keenan asked a good question. If the Flyers keep being bad, do they trade Carter Hart?
To me, no. I'm going to say no, and here's why I'm going to say no. Not that that's not the smart thing to do, because I think that might be the smart thing to do, and just start over. Because if you think about it, Carter Hart's like what, 25, and you shouldn't be trading a 25-year-old starting goaltender who's been starting for what, 3 years, 4 years. But I don't think they're going to, because the way that the Flyers are run is they don't think that they're in trouble.
Yeah,
that's how they're operated.
You're right. You're
their
100%
GM,
right.
their owner, they're a little. They're close.
They're a little out to lunch,
which is why they hired John Tortorella. I'm actually a little surprised Torts took the job. Is that weird for me to say?
Like, he wanted to get back into coaching in the NHL.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you turn down a job because there's only so many. No. So if somebody offers you one and they say we're going to pay you X million dollars, you don't say no. Torts wanted to get back in and whatever. You take what you can get. But the Flyers management don't think that they're that far off. They think they're a piece from a title team. Yeah. They think they're a piece from a cup team. Personally, which is scary.
Yeah. And I think too, like, I know when they brought Carter Hart in, he started off really well for them. But I still think that maybe they rushed him a bit.
Carter Hart.
Yeah, because goalies take a little longer.
Yeah.
They take a little longer, but he had such a good little stint in the AHL to start, and obviously his performance at the World Juniors and his junior career was
unbelievable.
One of the best goaltending careers in the Western Hockey League, but
ever. I
still think they might have rushed him a bit, and as a result, that might have affected his development.
And on top of that, too, I agree with you exactly. They put too much on him too soon, is I think what the main thing was, where they rushed him. They had other guys in there, but they were like, yeah, you're the horse. We're riding you all the way. And I think with Philadelphia, they don't ever, the fan base and the market don't go half speed on anything. They go full speed all the time.
There we go.
Good little shot there. They go full speed. And if you remember, like the year he came up and started winning some games for Philly that year, they were like, finally,
a goalie.
Our problem we've had since Ron Hextall has been solved. We haven't had a goalie since the 80s. We finally have one.
Yeah.
And he's our savior from here on for the rest of his career.
Yep.
And I think that maybe the attitude around that in the market, maybe within the organization itself, might have just been a little quick.
Maybe. I think you're right.
So that's part of you saying that they rushed him, but I think that's all part of it. I don't think he's done. Like, I don't think he's like past any prime of any kind. He's not wrecked.
Goalies' primes are much later than players' primes, right? So he'll be fine.
He could very well be a Vezina candidate at some point in his career. But yeah, it's scary. And the way that the Flyers have, like with Chuck Fletcher as their GM, if you remember Chuck Fletcher's time, Chuck Fletcher. His time in Minnesota, he just threw money at problems. That was what he did. Ryan Suter, Zach Parise, you think to them. He just likes to throw money at problems. And they've done that in Philadelphia also. And it hasn't always worked out. So we'll see what they do with this team. I'm a little worried for the fan base because I think that they're one mistake move away from like wrecking the entire future of that team. So we'll see.
Yes, we'll see.
We'll see.
Finland really hasn't been able to generate anything this period.
No.
I mean, they still haven't got a shot, and what's that? Oh, speak of the devil.
That was a
self-inflicted play, though.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the shots. 8-0 in this period. So 6:24 in, and Finland still hasn't got a shot. But
they're going to a commercial break, so I think we will too. We got an alert, and I'm pretty sure that's fake.
That's fake.
But it sounds interesting, and maybe when we get back, we'll talk about some stuff about the Chicago Blackhawks. They are a traveling circus, and I'm really interested to see what they do.
We might need the intermission for
It
that.
might need an intermission. Maybe save that for the intermission.
Save that for the
we'll be back in just over a minute here, guys. And we're back just as the puck is about to drop. These commercial breaks are working out perfectly.
Yeah, but you've been timing that very well.
Yeah, it's like I do it for a job. Timing commercial breaks.
Sometimes.
We got McTavish and Bedard's line out there right now on a defensive face-off. And Jeremy, you've been saying that Finland just hasn't really been able to generate much this period.
Well, they haven't got even a shot on net yet.
Right.
They've been barely able to honestly like break the puck out of their own
Just get
zone.
out of
Like
their
here,
own
they
way.
finally have a breakout at least.
Yeah.
But there's their first legitimate shot of the period, and that came from the far hash marks
It
on the
was
wall.
Non-factor shot.
Yeah, like that's a, just put it on net and hope for the best type of shot. But
Yeah.
we found there's a penalty. Oh,
Penalty on Bedard.
So Finland's finally going to get a power play as we kind of get close to the halfway point.
Okay. Well,
But-
here we go. Now, Finland does have a good power play with Topi Niemela as their quarterback. Not just saying that because he's a Leafs prospect. He's legitimately dangerous on the power play, especially at this level. So yeah, we'll be watching this power play because they have some guys who can really make stuff happen.
Well, I think that's going to be the only way that they honestly get back in this game because 5-on-5, they haven't been able to produce anything.
Right. What did they call this? Didn't they call it a cross check?
Holding the
Holding
stick.
the stick. Okay, I could have swore they called it something else. Gavin came in here and threw out this trade. Patrick Kane to the Rangers. Didn't happen. I would, if that did happen, the Chicago GM Kyle Davidson would need to lose his job because that's not necessarily enough. Not nearly enough is what I meant to say for Patrick Kane. But either way, Gavin, thanks for coming in here. We appreciate you joining us. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. The Hockey Podcast Network is pushing for 3,000 subscribers. If you do subscribe, you have a chance to win a $200 gift card to the NHL shop. So you might as well just hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, just hit it. And also hit the like button on the video. And hit up DraftKings. Use the promo code THPN. Here's the power play. Already got a shot off. Topi Niemela gets the shot from the point. Dylan Garand, no problem.
There's a lot of traffic there.
A lot of traffic. You're not wrong there. Actually, that was a good shot.
That was a good shot, but a better save.
Yeah. He saw that. As a guy skated in front of him, he went out and
Mhm.
got it. That's actually a really good save.
He's really good at reading the play.
Now, you've probably seen Dylan.
I saw him a lot.
You saw Dylan Garand a lot.
10 times this past year.
You lived in Prince George. You were the public address announcer and a sports reporter in the city for a few years.
Yeah.
A few years? Couple years? Enough years.
Enough years.
That you would have seen a lot of guys from the BC division in the WHL.
Yeah.
Dylan Garand came through quite a few times.
Yes.
Big
Sometimes-
fan of the guy.
I mean, when your team's playing against him, oh, here we got a breakaway.
Penalty kill breakaway. Nothing.
That was a great save.
Nothing.
I mean, when he's playing against the team, obviously, that you're rooting for or working for, it kind of sucks, seeing him on the other end because, when you're playing them, you're only going to get a few chances
Yeah.
against them.
Right.
But there was there was a number of times where he made saves that I was I couldn't believe he would make.
Yeah.
He's a very talented goalie, and like Kamloops had a very good team this past year too. Like they
were a contender.
They were a contender, and they shopped like in contender, and they lost in the Western Conference Final in 7 games to Seattle.
Yeah. Who I didn't think was going to make it to the finals this year.
So Seattle was a very quietly a very good team this past year. And I think the big reason why was because of how young they were.
Right.
But their young guys were really good, and they got really good goaltending at the right time, and they made a really good run. The scary thing is they're going to be even better next year.
Because they're probably not graduating a ton of guys.
No, they're not.
Their young drafted players are young. So Donnell says, you guys kind of missed my other questions that you didn't ask. I'm sorry, Donnell. Listen, we're going to get back to them, Donnell, so don't feel like we're ignoring you. We're going to get back to those questions in the intermission, which is only 10 minutes or so away here in this game. So don't feel bad. We'll get back to them. And if you want, Donnell, maybe just ask them again. Put them in the comments again, just so we don't miss them. If we did miss some of your questions, just throw them in the comments again, and we'll get that your way. But yeah, Dylan Garand obviously was a draft pick from the New York Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be really happy with that.
Well, and that's
pick.
I think that's with how he has been the last 2 years in Kamloops and how good he's been. I mean, this past year he was the WHL goaltender of the year. He was the CHL goaltender of the year. His goals against average was under 2.
Jeez.
Yeah, he has nothing else to do in junior hockey, which is unfortunate for him just because Kamloops is hosting the Memorial Cup this year. But he's already said he's not going back.
Yeah.
He's going pro. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why the Rangers moved Georgiev.
Mm-hmm.
And they got rid of him because
you think he has a shot to make the Rangers?
No.
They want to give him playing
time.
But
they want to move guys up in the depth chart so then Grant can get a spot in the AHL. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So
I would love to see him get some time with the Rangers. But you never – rushing goalies is tough. Russian goalies.
It comes back to what we were talking about with Carter Hart.
Yeah.
Keenan asks, how many more seasons till the Red Wings make the playoffs? That's a really good question.
I'll step in here just really quick. I love how the Red Wings have approached their rebuild.
Yes.
I wasn't loving how they were approaching their rebuild just a couple seasons ago, but the way that Yzerman's fully bought in, I think they accelerated it by a few years.
I think so too. And they've got some.
They are in probably right now anyways, and for probably the next year or two.
Ooh.
They're probably in the toughest division to make the playoffs in terms of teams that are locked into a playoff spot.
So they're going to be. That's the thing. They might be. Gosh, that was a great.
The East in general too, because you said earlier we were talking about the Pacific, and you said 5 teams from the Pacific maybe will make the playoffs. Who knows? I don't think you're going to get 5 teams from an Eastern Division making the playoffs anytime soon. There's too many good teams in the Metro too.
Yeah.
And then there's at least 4 rock solid teams in the Atlantic right now.
Mm-hmm.
Plus you have Ottawa, who's kind of getting there. Montreal, they surprised everybody a couple of years ago. They probably won't be surprising anyone this year, but they always seem to be hardworking and competitive. That's how Montreal's always been. Montreal's been one of those teams for years now that nobody gives credit to, and then they make a cup run. Yeah. They make a cup final run for some reason. They did that back in what year was that? 2008, where they beat Boston, and then they went on a run with Herlack.
Oh, right.
The goalie.
Oh, yeah. Or are you thinking the year that they beat both Ovechkin and the Capitals, and then Pittsburgh?
Maybe that year.
Because that was the goalie,
and they went on a run.
And then they lost in the conference final.
Yeah, and nobody expected them to be that good at that time. But they've always been one of those kinds of teams. So we'll see. But again, for Detroit specifically, I love what they're doing. I love the draft picks they've made in the last couple of years. They've been building through their draft picks, which is awesome to see. And you always want to see a team that builds correctly do well, because You don't see teams doing that all the time anymore, building through the draft and actually like developing those guys and playing them well. Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider, even Philip Zadina is still there. He's been there for a while now. Dylan Larkin is a Red Wings product. That's what I'm trying to say. Then they go out and supplement their goalies. They have 2 young goalies, Nedeljkovic and Husso. Don't hate it. It's going to be interesting because they're both young-ish. At least they're mid-20s. So can they both – who's going to take the reins and can they tandem well? I think they should be able to. So that's going to be interesting too. But I love that they supplemented their young guys with a guy like David Perron. They brought him in the offseason, and they brought in a couple other young guys as well through free agency. So I love it. I love what they've done.
So there's 8 minutes left in the second here.
8 minutes left.
I would say, it's 4-1, but it's been pretty one-sided other than, those short little spurts. But if this, if everything kind of plays out the rest of today that we kind of think it is, what do you think is going to be the gold medal?
Well, so Finland's probably going to end up playing like Sweden.
If the results hold. Well, no, they would play the loser of that game.
No, but then wouldn't they go through that side's playoff bracket? So wouldn't they play Sweden eventually?
After the quarterfinals, they reseed.
Oh, they do. Okay.
They reseed after the quarterfinals.
Right. Okay. So they'll play the loser of the Sweden-Germany game? Or no, they're playing the one that from the earlier today, Switzerland, Austria.
Finland?
Yeah, because they'll finish second in
Canada. If Canada holds on and wins, they'll play Switzerland.
If Canada wins, they play Switzerland. Okay. So I think Canada's just too strong. Like if they're going to beat Finland 4-1, I don't see why they wouldn't get to the gold medal game. Because especially if they're going to go through Switzerland.
I just think right now the way this tournament has folded out, the reason why I just bring it up is, I think right now it's just shaping up. It looks like it's going to be Canada versus the States in the final.
Canada States.
Yeah. I mean, right now they've looked like easily the strongest 2 teams.
Yeah.
Did you watch the USA Sweden game last night?
No, I missed it, but I saw some stuff from it. Yeah.
Like Sweden, I just don't know if they're going to be able to score enough.
Yeah.
So
they need some guys to step up. Like we were talking
shots
about
this period are 16-4 for Canada.
Yeah. We were talking about it this morning. You were telling me about how go look at Sweden's point totals, and I was like, why? And there was only one guy from Sweden in the top 20 in scoring. That never happens. They always have 4 or 5 guys in the top 20 in scoring. So they just aren't producing. So unless they can figure it out in the next couple of days, at the end of the day, it is summer hockey. A lot of these guys probably haven't played with each other.
Too, is it's summer hockey.
And maybe by game 5 or 6, those guys will start figuring it out. We'll have to see. Hopefully for them. Or else they're not going to last very long in the playoffs.
But yeah, after that slow start for the first 5 minutes, like this has been a pretty one-sided hockey game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Victor and Jacob are getting into a scrum in the comment section. Boys, take it easy. We're all friends here. Stop fighting. We're good. Victor says, "Can you put me in a timeout?" I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to let you sit here. You're not going in a timeout. The only way the Habs have a chance is if Price is healthy all year, Keenan says. So that just goes back to our conversation from before. Jacob says Vegas should get Price. Now we're talking. Let's cook up a Carey Price trade to Vegas.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Vegas at all to do that, though.
They can't.
Oh, they'll find a way.
No, they won't.
They cleared Max Pacioretty, and if Robin Lehner goes on LTIR, that's another $5 million.
They need that money. Yeah, but they can't afford 10.
Unless they traded like Riley Smith away and stuff like that. I'd love to see it. Come on, McCrimmon. You know you want to.
Lane, why do you think Sweden, despite success in group play, have only won the World Juniors 2 times total? That's a great question.
It's a phenomenon.
It's almost unheard of, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And they always win the right way too in the round robin. They are able to score. They have good defense, and they usually have good goaltending. So why does it always kind of fall apart in the end? They should be winning every year. Not every year.
Well, not every year, but
like
you would in in the law of averages.
Right.
When you think about, Canada, the United States, Sweden, Finland, and Russia, like say, between 10 World Juniors, averages would say they all win 2 each. But yeah, Sweden's an interesting one because they usually have so many good players, and they have such a good round robin, and then playoff time comes around and the games get a little bit more intense, and
yeah,
who knows?
It's weird. It is a weird one.
They've made a lot of finals too.
Yeah,
they've lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
A lot of those to Canada, or I think it was the US the one year, and it's just I don't know what it is. I'm not sure we will ever know. That's a phenomenon that I think even the experts can't really fully figure out.
Yeah, they didn't lose a game in the qualifying round for like 10 years.
No. We're going to take a quick break here before this game gets back as they kind of sort out these penalties, and we'll be back in just over a minute. Stick around. All right, we're back here. Canada has been putting some pressure on since we went to commercial break. So we'll see what happens here. There's just under 5 minutes left in the second period.
Shots 18-4 now in
18-4.
the second. 18-4 for Canada.
Jeez. So they were 10-10 right after the first. Yeah. 18-4. Wow.
Yeah.
You just don't see that very often. Especially with Finland when they have some of the better offensive players in the tournament. You saw
they had three players in the top 10?
Yeah. That first
game?
line, the whole first line is in the top, I think 7 or 8 in scoring. And they got Brad Lambert kicking around. You just saw him skating around. They got some good players.
Just took a penalty.
And we just took a penalty. So power play Canada coming up here. We got some comments coming in here. Keenan saying he's watching from Nova Scotia.
It's barely been any penalties this game, eh? It's only the third penalty ball.
Yeah, there hasn't been very many. Now, in saying that, Canada is 1 for 1 on their power plays percentages. So they're batting 100 right now, or 1,000. So Finland needs to come out strong on this power play, or this game could be over. Now, not that it's not already over, the way Canada's playing in this period specifically.
Well, yeah, it's.
But if they score, you might as well just start thinking about.
I definitely, like you said, we still got 4 minutes left here in the second, but I thought this game was going to be much tighter.
Yeah. Now they got Bedard playing the middle bumper slot here, the bumper spot, not the trigger man on the one side, which is what I think he started the tournament as. I'm not sure if there's. I thought that went in.
I also thought that went in.
I'm not sure if there's a reason.
Snow
that they
Angel.
Him, but yeah, he definitely sprawled out. That's how he made that stop. Maybe they like Connor's playmaking ability in the middle, where he kind of has more opportunity to do a bounce pass or a tip or something. Like this was him tipping that in there. So maybe they like that.
Yeah, on the side of the post.
Yeah. Right here.
One player I thought was going to, number-wise, I thought was going to be better in the round robin. That really hasn't been Logan Stankovic.
Yeah.
To another Kamloops guy, but I mean,
he's got a few points, but
he thought he
thought he was going to really pop off, huh?
Well, he should in the WHL last year. He was unreal.
Yeah.
But he's another guy that.
That was a wired shot.
That was an NHL shot.
Yeah.
That was an
And
NHL shot.
from an NHL player, Mason McTavish, who is very much an NHL player playing in this tournament. He was a guy last year who made an impression with the Ducks right away, Mason McTavish. I think he almost made that team full-time last year.
He did almost make it.
I don't know if they really wanted to send him back down. And then he goes back down, rips up the OHL, goes to the Memorial Cup. They didn't win, though. Hamilton didn't win, right? They lost in the finals, I think. Didn't
the Mem Cup?
Yeah, the Quebec team won this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, St. John was the host.
St. John was the host, and they won. Yeah, they won.
That was unreal.
But Mason McTavish was a big reason for Hamilton, maybe the biggest reason for Hamilton's success this year. He's just a monster, and he's got the body. Like if you just watching him play tonight,
He's a man amongst boys.
he's a man playing with junior hockey players out there.
Yeah.
He really is. He's not eligible for the next World Junior, is he? This is his last one.
He's done.
Yeah, he's going to be probably the second line center for the Ducks this year. And he's playing in this tournament right now and doing quite well. Quite well. I think he's got like 14 points now in 4 games. So
Well, he had 10 going into tonight.
yeah, and he's gotten at least
2.
well, let's look. We can look at the stats.
We have the technology.
We have the technology.
No, yeah, because he has it. He has 2 for sure because he's got a goal and an assist.
He's got the assist on Connor's shot and then the goal. So he's got 2 points. So he's got 12 points in the tournament. Actually, I think we can pull up the overall top scorers. Yes, look at this. Look at this. So this is all within 3 or 4 games. Mason McTavish, it's going to pop up for you on your screen in just a second there. Mason McTavish, 7 goals in the tournament. Not bad. And then you got Bedard, who sneaked up there to 3rd overall in scoring. And then, like you said earlier, 3 Finnish players, or 4, I guess, now in the top 10, but 3 of them are on that first line for Finland. So you could argue that they might be the best line in the tournament outside of McTavish and Bedard, obviously.
Maybe not tonight.
Yeah, not tonight.
Shots are 25 now in this period.
25 shots in the period?
20 to 5.
Oh, 20-5.
Yeah.
20 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a crazy, and the Americans there too with those 3 guys in the top 10 there, Bordalo, Coronado, and Mazer. Is it Mazer? I think it's Mazer. They've been impressing as well from what I've heard, among others. And then you got Latvia. Look at this. Bergmanis for Latvia is in the top 15. You got to love to see it.
Yeah, you do.
But then we look at Sweden. You said it earlier. I think it's Emil Andre is their top scorer with 5 points, which is respectable to an extent. But then they don't have another guy until down here at 34th. Olesen, Isaac Rosen is down there. And you said it earlier today when we were talking this morning. Fabian Lysell. It was a top touted guy in this tournament. He hasn't really done anything. 3 points, 1 goal. So I know Sweden's wanting him to do more. And if he starts picking it up, then maybe their fortunes turn around a little bit. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Let's see. Okay, we got some people over here. Patrick McKenzie Jr. says, Clark, you talked me into joining y'all. I put out a tweet a second ago. Patrick McKenzie's jumping in.
Thanks, Patrick.
Adam Vanilla saying, sorry I'm late, guys. Can you believe my boss actually wanted me to work? Adam, this is our office. We work here. So we're at work doing this.
That's true.
So yeah, no, we're loving it. This has been a fun game to watch so far. Canada's doing very good.
I like Keenan's idea. I think we see a wild 3rd period, 6-5 Canada.
Ooh, let's see it. We might as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else did I miss here? Can't see the game here. Nope. Sorry, Stefan. That's illegal. That's what they call copyright infringement.
Yes.
We can't do that.
You know those things that go on before movies? And all that?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know the whole thing every time you watch a baseball game that says, tonight's game is a copyrighted broadcast brought to you by Major League Baseball. Any attempt to rebroadcast this? Or what is it? Any attempt?
Something like that.
Any attempt to recirculate this without Major League Baseball's express written consent will be prosecuted or something. They make it pretty adamant that you shouldn't do that. So we're not allowed. Anyways, Dylan says, everyone like the video. Yes, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and go check out DraftKings using the promo code THPN. Before we go to a intermission break here, Finland gets one more shot at the end of the period.
Hey, they got 6 now for the period.
6 shots. Keenan says, is Brad Lambert going to the Jets a steal late in the first round?
That's a good question.
You know what, Jeremy? When we come back, we're going to take a quick break. Why don't we look at the draft and talk about the draft a little bit? Sure. We'll talk about the draft a little bit. We'll talk about, Liz. Liz is popping in.
Oh,
Liz is popping in.
I'm on board for a 6-5 game, but also 8-6 would be fun.
Why not just go one
you know
step
what? 10-9.
10-9.
Sure.
Overtime 10-9.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
I like it. Thank you for popping in here, Liz. Appreciate that. Stefan says, I mean, here at my home. Oh, you can't watch it at your home. Well, you can hang out with us.
We can do play-by-play, kind of.
In a way, we kind of are.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. Please stick around. Thank you for the newcomers who are just popping in here. Liz is a big WHL fan.
Oh, yeah. I follow her on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, she's great.
I need my U.S. division content.
If you want Sharks talk,
that too.
Liz is a pretty good person to follow. But anyways, we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of draft. We're going to talk Chicago Blackhawks, because I know somebody brought it up earlier. And whatever else you guys want. Put it in the comments right now. What you guys
send us questions.
Yeah, questions, topics, concerns. And we'll see you guys in like a minute and 20 seconds. All right, we're back. Obviously, I am Jeremy Liss at the moment, but he'll be back in just a second. He was just grabbing some water. But Liz chiming in here and saying, speaking of Brad Lambert, because we were just talking about him before the commercial break here, he's hoping to make a stop in Seattle with the Thunderbirds. Here's hoping, that he makes a stop in Seattle with the Thunderbirds for the season before heading to Manitoba full-time. So that is one thing that I believe it happened just before the NHL draft or just after the NHL draft, but I want to say it was before, that Brad Lambert's rights were held in the WHL by the Saskatoon Blades, and they traded his rights, because he wasn't playing in the WHL, they traded his rights to the Seattle Thunderbirds, who, and Jeremy was just talking about this a couple minutes ago before we went to commercial break there, but that the Seattle Thunderbirds were an extremely young team that made it to all the way to the WHL finals, and they're bringing back pretty much everybody on the team. They just added Brad Lambert's rights.
That's right.
And if he ends up going to Seattle,
which he is,
they're probably going to repeat as Western champs or get close. Like, Brad Lambert's a game changer.
Yeah.
Especially in the WHL.
I'd be hard not to imagine in the conference final of the Western Conference final next year, it's not a repeat. Seattle and Kamloops. Because Kamloops is hosting the Memorial Cup next year.
Yeah.
And they're going to be going all in. They've already got a good team.
Maybe they get a Connor Bedard.
Maybe. Sure.
Could they afford him? I mean,
yes.
They have enough kind of those younger assets, draft picks.
They do, but forwards isn't what they need.
No.
They need a defenseman or two, and they need a goalie.
Yeah, they don't need a Connor Bedard.
They don't need him. They got lots
He's
of
overkill.
No.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, they're still gonna Logan Stankoven's probably still gonna go back.
Yeah.
So he'll be fine. They'll up front, I think they're gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they'll need to.
Liz says, I'm telling you, the Memorial Cup is coming back to the WHL in 2023, and it'll be the U.S. division that brings it home.
I hope a WHL team does win the Memorial Cup. It's been It's been a while.
You know, the WHL hasn't performed well at the tournament in the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Outside of the Regina Pats in 2018, we went to the finals. That was fun. I remember the year. So I worked with the Pats for 3 years. For those who don't know, 2016, 17, 17, 18, and then 18, 19. 16, 17, we thought it was our year. We played Seattle in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Bear, Matt Barzell, they killed us.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't kill us. We put up a fight, but
that was a close.
It was a battle. Everyone
Yeah.
was hurt. I mean, for the Pats, Adam Brooks was playing on half an MCL at the time. Austin Wagner was hurt. Philip All was hurt. That year that playoff run was a grind.
Always is.
We didn't have Jesse Gabriel, who we traded for as a 20-year-old that year. He didn't play during the playoffs, so we were down a 20-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a really weird year. Sorry, was that the next year? Am I getting years mixed up?
I think you're getting the years.
I'm getting years.
Gabriel was the year.
Gabriel
that they
was the
hosted
year after.
the Cup.
Yeah.
Anyways, regardless.
Either way,
Regardless.
Yeah.
WHL teams have not performed well during the Memorial Cup. So
Right.
hopefully
What I was getting at
next year,
because the Thunderbirds were so beat up, they beat us in the finals that year, and then they went to the Memorial Cup. Ethan Bear was playing with like a broken hand. Keegan Colasar was he was hitting everybody, but he was bruised and bumped up.
And you can say the same thing about Prince Albert in 2019. They went
one.
7 games in overtime against the Vancouver Giants.
Yeah.
Then they went to the Memorial Cup. They lost all 3 games. So
yeah.
I mean, you hope to see it go back to the WHL maybe this year. 2 teams are going to be in it. You got 50% chance.
Yeah.
So you got to hope for the best.
One thing I will say, and I don't want to sound super biased, but I'm going to sound a little biased in saying this. I think the WHL playoffs are the hardest playoffs in 100%. Canada. And I think lately, especially in junior hockey, especially in the last, I'm going to say decade. No, I'm not saying, I shouldn't say this because I think hockey's changed a lot. But I mean, you saw years where Kootenay was winning and Vancouver won the one year, I think, right? With Milan Lucic that year.
2006.
Those teams were stacked. Lately, the WHL, I don't think has done, and I'm not going to say they've done a bad job, but they haven't loaded teams up as much as I feel like maybe they used to.
I would say there's
a lot more spread out talent.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think personally, the last WHL team to actually load up and make a good run and almost win a Memorial Cup, and we're one shot away from a Memorial Cup, was Kelowna. Kelowna in 2014, 2015, when they went out and got Draisaitl and Morrissey.
Yeah, that was
because other than that, I can't imagine a time
Edmonton loaded up with Griffin Reinhart the one year, didn't they?
Well, and to be fair, Edmonton tried to load up this year, and they obviously won, But
the problem with Edmonton loading up was Winnipeg also loaded up, and then you had teams in the West that also had a bunch of additions.
Kamloops loaded up.
So whereas in the OHL and the Q, I feel like you see one or two teams that get everybody, and then that's just the team that wins. Yeah. This is a good question. What got you both into hockey? Says Keenan. That's a great question, Keenan. Thank you for asking. We are Canadians, so my story isn't probably different than Jeremy's. That's different than Liz's, which is different than Adam's, which is different than everybody else's. But my brother was a very competitive hockey player. My dad was a huge hockey fan. My dad's family, huge hockey fans. We were Moose Jaw Warriors season ticket holders in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. So, I mean, I got to see a lot of hockey growing up. And I think that was it. Just watched a lot of hockey. Hockey night in Canada is always big. And that was kind of it for me. It didn't take me long to fall in love with the Moose Jaw Warriors, to fall in love with watching the World Juniors, to fall in love with the Anaheim Ducks at the time. Paul Correa was my guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a left winger. I was nowhere near the type of player Paul Correa was in terms of style, but I wanted to be Paul Correa. I was more of a light Eric Lindros, big power forward.
Yeah.
But I was a Paul Correa guy. So anyways, that was it for me. It was just growing up in a hockey family, community, and it didn't take very long. What about you?
Well,
same idea?
I mean, pretty much the same. Pretty much from all, ever since I could remember, it's pretty much just watching hockey all the time on TV and constantly playing it and going to as many games as possible at every level too. Like I grew up in the Lower Mainland in BC, so we had Junior B, Junior A, WHL.
Who was your dub team growing up?
The Giants.
The Giants.
Because the Giants came into the league in 2000, 2001.
Right. So perfect time for you.
So I would have been 8.
Yeah.
So that was a perfect time for me to go. And I remember them, my 2 favorite memories of junior hockey growing up was 2005, 2006 when they won the WHL. They beat Moose Jaw in the final.
Oh, and that Moose Jaw team was so dang good too. Like
that's how good that WHL, that Giants team was. But then the next year they hosted the Memorial Cup, and going to it, and it's been fun since. And then just now being able to work in it's even more fun.
Yeah,
I think one thing I would say is if you have the ability to, I highly recommend if you can go to a Memorial Cup. It's one of the best sporting events you can go to, because if you can go to a tournament at this high level quality of hockey, it's no different than World Juniors, but to see teams like that, it's crazy.
Yeah, and they're all built to be at that point in the season.
Correct.
So they're all very good.
Yeah.
We hosted the Memorial Cup here in 2018, and every team was good. It was so fun to watch all of them. But it is a ton of fun to watch junior hockey and follow your community's team or whatever. And Donnell says, I'm from New York, but from the tri-state area, born and raised in New York, New Jersey. All my life I've had 9 pro teams: the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils, the Yankees, the Mets, the Giants, the Jets, the Knicks, and the Nets. You're spoiled, Donnell.
That's a lot. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Keenan, I remember coming home and watching the Olympics where Sidney Crosby scored the game-winning goal for Canada to win gold. That's how I got in love with hockey. Where were you? Where were you when that goal was scored?
I was in California. I played baseball, so it's funny that we're doing a hockey stream. I was actually more of a baseball player in my life than hockey, but I was down in California playing college ball in that time.
Yep.
And obviously, there weren't very many hockey fans down there, but there was a few really adamant, big San Jose Sharks fans. Shout out Liz.
Yeah.
That we lived with. We played ball with. So the Americans came over to our apartment that we lived in to watch that game.
Oh.
There was probably 5 or 6 of them that were really, really into it. And that was some of the most liberating, free, I feel like I'm on top of the world type of moment when they beat America while I was there. So that was a ton of fun. So I was in the States. I remember we literally grabbed a Canadian flag that was in our living room and started running up and down the streets of California and by the ocean. And everyone probably thought we were insane, but it was a good time. That's where I was. What were you? You were probably near there.
I was downtown.
Yeah.
I was watching the game on one of those big screens in downtown Vancouver.
Ooh.
And it was
that would have been something.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 18.
Oh, perfect.
And it was crazy. I remember when they tied it, when the Americans tied it, and that crowd, it was. Imagine being around that many thousands of people and it just being silent. It was unbelievable. And then obviously when the goal happened, I've never seen so many people jumping up and down.
Yeah. I had a similar experience this past spring when I went to Toronto to go to Maple Leaf Square, Maple Leafs versus Lightning, and I got to see games 1 and 2. That was pretty cool to be in that environment. So I can empathize. At the same time, it's not quite at the level of a Canadian Olympic gold medal game in Canada.
Yeah,
that's different.
But it was
I understand where you're coming from on that one. I was gonna go into a story, but I can't remember what I was. You know what else I was in California for? This is where I was going. Any CFL fans in the building? I was in California for the Saskatchewan Roughriders 2009 Grey Cup against Montreal, the famous 13th man. Grey Cup, where if you are a CFL fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, the Rough Riders and Alouettes were neck and neck at the end of the game, basically the Canadian Super Bowl for the Americans watching. And Montreal went and they're trying to kick the game-winning field goal at the end of the game, and the kicker missed it. They missed it, so we win. The Rough Riders win 2009 Grey Cup. We're all pumped. Nobody saw the flag on the play. Saskatchewan had an extra man on the field, and they called the penalty as the kick was being kicked. So nobody saw it because the cameras were focused on the ball. And obviously, it went from the happiest feeling to absolute devastation. And then Montreal got the re-kick, and they kicked it in, and they won. So I was in California for that as well. So I got to see a couple of like monumental sports
Those are two very different celebrations for you.
Down in Cali. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, third period about to start.
Third period.
What are your expectations?
So it can go one of two ways.
Do we think Finland's actually going to put up more than 6 shots?
Well, yeah, I would hope so. It can go one of two ways.
Yay or nay?
Canada can step on them and end it, or we see Finland scrap and grind and get back into it like they are known to. It is Finland.
Okay, I'm going to set the over-under at 6 for shots for them. Do they get over 6 shots or under 6
I'm going to say over because score effects is going to come into play, where if a team has a big lead, they sit back a little bit more and let some of those outside shots get through.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen. I think they'll probably end up getting like 10 shots, but none of them will be scary.
Murph says 9-2 Canada.
9-2 Canada?
9-2.
Just keep pumping it. Okay.
I like it.
Liz goes ahead and says, what I'm hearing is Clark needs to be in California during more major sporting event. Liz, I'm in. Are we going to start a GoFundMe so I can afford to do that? Or let me know.
I don't know if the job you currently have will let you work remotely like that.
yeah, working remotely might be an issue.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's not an issue.
Liz also says, for the sake of the goaltenders, I'd like the score to stay 5-1. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice of you, Liz.
That's very nice of you.
That's nice of you. We'll see.
Maybe they want to boost those save percentages because right now.
I'll say if Canada gets an early goal, it gets out of hand. If they don't get one in the first 5 minutes, it'll stay close to 5-1-ish.
Yeah.
But if they get an early one, it'll be 9-2 like Murph says. That's what I'll say.
Jacob says 9-1 Canada.
9-1. Okay, send in your predictions. We didn't talk about the draft, but maybe that's for the next show.
We did not talk.
We'll do that for the next
Coming
show.
up after the break, we're going to talk about the NHL draft.
Well, we were going to talk about Brad Lambert, I think, more than anything. But I think the question was, maybe we'll just quickly touch on it. Is Brad Lambert going to be the steal of the NHL draft at 30 for the Winnipeg Jets? I'm going to say yes. I thought he was going to go early 20s, even in the teens. At one point, I thought he might have gone in the teens. He was top 10 at one point, Brad Lambert. Now, that was over a year ago that he was top 10, but he was. There's always that one player, 2 players that are supposed to go like either top 10 or like early teens that slide into the 20s. They don't always work out. Like who was the one in the draft that we were at in 2019? Well, Cole Caulfield was the one that slid a little bit, but he didn't go past 20. There was another player that went past 20 and everyone was like, oh, this is going to be him. And it wasn't. And then it wasn't. And it wasn't. And we always thought it was going to be him.
I thought it was Caulfield.
Well, it was Caulfield, but I swear there was another player that year.
I'd have to look at the list.
I'm gonna look it up. But either way, there's often those players. I'm thinking of like Joel Veleno. Was he Joel Veleno that year, or was that a different year for Joel?
I'm not sure.
2019 NHL draft.
All right, third period underway.
I'll look it up. Kirby Doc going at 3 that year was a shock. Everybody started booing,
Well, especially now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Could have had Bowen Byram. Didn't. Moritz Seider at 6 that year was a shock to everybody. That was fun. Caulfield went 15th. We thought he was going to go top 10. Peyton Krebs went pretty high. Connor McMichael was Nolan Foote. Was he that guy? Ryan Suzuki? Maybe I'm thinking of
I think you're thinking of a different draft.
Or just Caulfield in general. But yeah, there's always one guy that kind of slips a little bit every year. And it just happens so that this year was Brad Lambert. But we'll see. It doesn't always work out. Just because they're highly touted doesn't necessarily mean that they're automatically going to be good. Brad Lambert's got some work to do. Obviously, 29 teams didn't think he was worth picking. So there's got to be some red flags. What are they? I don't know. I'm not one of the scouts.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So just to, I guess, reiterate, So if Canada holds on to this lead and they win this game, they will play Switzerland in the quarterfinal.
Switzerland.
Another quarterfinal right now is USA and Czechia.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. 2-on-1.
Jeez, I know he missed the net, but that was a good shot.
And then depending on what happens in that last game tonight, which is Sweden and Germany, that will determine the other two quarterfinals.
Right.
Because
And
the winner of that game gets second place.
The winner of that game gets first place. Or no,
Second
USA
place.
got first place.
Yes. So winner of Sweden Germany gets second place.
Okay.
And then they will play Latvia.
The winner of that one plays Latvia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then
I thought the USA was playing Latvia. Who are they
No,
playing?
Czechia.
Czechia. You said that already.
Czechia.
Do you like the name change? From Czech Republic?
I mean,
It's not up to us, but
yeah, no, well, of course not.
we don't get this.
I like it. I mean,
It took me a minute to get used to it, I gotta say. Czech Republic was so burned into my brain.
yeah, I mean, well, that's what we grew up on, right?
Yeah. And, you know, it's
I mean,
funny, our parents grew up on
I
Czechoslovakia.
was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's changed.
My dad still calls
and
Czech
your-
Republic Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, and your kids will probably be calling
Yeah.
it Czechia, knowing school and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that funny how that works? Those Eastern European countries, man, they have had some changes. I'll
Yes,
tell
they
you
have.
what, that's been an interesting history. That's for another podcast or another show. That's not what we're getting into here. Liz says she's still excited for Latvia.
I am too.
Yeah. Super
And
excited.
honestly, we mentioned this earlier, but Latvia's playing some good hockey right now.
Yeah, they're hard to play against.
They are. Like Canada only beat them 5-2.
I'm just going to pull up their roster because I think
They,
had. Who do they have on their team?
I could see Latvia giving, if it's Sweden, I could see them giving them some troubles because we talked about it.
Mhm.
Sweden has a hard time putting the puck in the back of the net.
Exactly. The website's not one to pull up for me here, but I just wanted to look at the Latvian roster. Fun fact, if anybody's on TikTok, which I'm pretty sure everybody pretty much is at this point in some form or fashion.
There we go.
Finland with the goal. I'll get back to my TikTok story in a sec. Who
Did it
who
get
got that
tipped?
in there? It was from the point. Like trying to call for a high stick here. Looks like Ridley Gregg's pointing at something. 31. Who's 31? I think I have the roster here. I should just pull it up. 31 is
That's a 7.
37. Joachim Kemmel. Okay, so they're saying Kemmel maybe tipped it then. I think there was a tip there. They're looking at it for a review. Fun fact, really quick. If you're on TikTok, Darius Rode is his name. His name is Waterboy Hockey. And he's this 5'4" Latvian hockey player who's probably around our age. And he's playing professional hockey in England right now.
Oh, wow.
And I actually met with him. I did a little TikTok interview with him about it last summer. And I was like, hey, who are some Latvian players that we should watch out for, like in this area, like junior hockey players that we should look out for, maybe in the World Juniors or whatever. And at the time, he was like, well, we haven't really been very good lately. But what he said was there are some players that the country is kind of getting pretty excited about. Like the program is building in Latvia. So it was pretty kind of cool.
They're
Cool to hear that from him.
They're not challenging because it's a high stick. They're challenging because they thought the puck went out of play.
Went out of play earlier in the play. Okay. So they shot it, Namelis shot it from the point, and then they tipped it.
Yeah, right here. Here's where they thought the puck went out. I mean, we're not going to get it.
The problem with these always is that it's so hard to see the net from these angles, and the puck is the same.
Look at their
color.
eyes.
Right. Yeah, they were giving up. Those Canadian players were almost giving up on the play.
Well, I was just saying, look at Ratty's eyes.
Yeah, you looked up.
Like as he skated around, you could
Yeah.
see him looking up into the air, looking high.
It's just, you're never going to find the right angle because nobody focuses on the
See?
puck going over the glass. But Greg almost gave up on the play there. So that's a legitimate concern, like a legitimate.
I thought that wasn't challengeable.
No, they challenged it in. What was I watching that they challenged? I saw them challenge it. Was it the NHL playoffs? What What am I trying to think of? There was one play that the puck went over and they looked at it like 48 times on the broadcast, and they couldn't tell if it touched the netting or not. Anyways, that is what they're challenging here. You know what? While they're challenging it, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back in just over a minute. And by that time, they should have the answer. So we'll get back to you in just a minute here, guys.
All right, we're back, and the play is still under review. Refs still looking at it. So again, Team Canada is just challenging to see whether or not that puck went up and into the netting. Obviously, with all the camera angles and everything like that, this is going to be a tough thing to look for. You kind of touched on it before the break, but
it's tough because the broadcasters, when you're filming a hockey game, when you're recording a hockey game, you don't look at the netting. You're looking at the ice. So all the cameras aren't pointed at the right spot.
Exactly.
These challenges are really hard to make. But yeah, definitely there was a game, I want to say in the Stanley Cup playoffs where this happened, where they were arguing it for a while and they kept looking at it over and over and over again. Does anyone remember that from the Stanley Cup finals? Was it the Stanley Cup or maybe just in the playoffs in general? Or was it something else recently? I just can't think of what it would have been. What other hockey has been played? Not much.
Not much lately.
Just the U18s, but I don't think it was them either. Or the Helenka Gretzky, I guess. That's not the U18s. Let's see here. What do we got? Who does VGK draft at the number 9 pick next season? I understand it's way, way too early. Jacob, we don't know if they're going to have the number 9 pick yet. That's the problem, is the season has to happen before the seeding happens.
All right,
so
we got a decision.
Here it is. Yeah, they couldn't tell.
Yeah, there's no way they could have figured that out.
No.
All right, so Finland is on the board here in the third.
On the board.
5-2. Lots of time. 16:53.
Lots of time. Tons of time. Tons of time. Jeremy, I was thinking about this a minute ago. You're a hockey broadcaster. You've done it for a while now.
Okay.
You've done both sides of the microphone. You've done play-by-play and color.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, we've kind of switched back and forth kind of between play-by-play and color, you and me.
Okay.
What do you prefer? Like, do you prefer to be the guy who drives the conversation, or do you prefer to kind of provide that extra little
I like
analysis?
both. I like both. I think both has its pros and both has its cons for sure.
Yeah.
I think in a hockey broadcast, like it is very different because obviously when you're doing play-by-play, you are constantly going back and forth and you're constantly talking. And then during those not commercial breaks, but stoppages in play, you're getting a break, and that's when you can rely on your color guy. Whereas the color guy, you get to kind of be impactful and notice the things that the play-by-play broadcaster is not going to notice right away.
Paint a picture a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think both are extremely fun.
Yeah.
So
I've never done the play-by-play. I don't know if I could do it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's very
Kudos
tough.
to you for that.
It's not easy. And I would say hockey's one of the tougher ones to do it for just because, you've seen some of
So
those junior A
fast.
games we've done together.
Yeah.
The game can be super fast. So,
And not only that, but like you have to pick out the small things that each player and who the player is and where they are on the ice. And you have to
100%.
describe that so that people know what's going on.
Yep.
As the color guy, you can just keep your eye on things, like you said, and kind of just like fill in the blanks. So that's that's an interesting one though, because Liz actually just says, might need some tips on doing color from you soon.
Sure.
So Liz, you're picking up the microphone? I love it.
That's exciting.
Fantastic. Honestly, just say what you'd say to your friend if you're watching a game. Like, to me, I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but
yeah,
you're providing analysis to build on top of what the play-by-play person is saying. So you got to listen to what they're saying and then pick up little nuances that happen on the ice that maybe didn't happen where the puck was, because you're paying attention to what the puck is doing most of the time. So maybe some stuff on the side, or maybe some stuff that you noticed the bench was doing, or the coaches, or whatever. But
see somebody hobbling to the bench.
Exactly.
It's watching for the little things.
Keenan says, my dream is to be a hockey commentator. Jeremy, how do you get into it? Like, I mean, I fell into it because I was just color commentating because you needed a body.
Hey, Clark, I need a break. It's 3 games in 3 nights. I need somebody to save my voice.
That was it.
Can you please come on? And
Clark, you're here anyways. Can you just do it, please? And I said, sure. And it was awesome. I love doing it. Color, not play-by-play. But like I said, I was working for the team and you needed some help. We had some fun. I jumped into it that way. You took a much different approach. So like, if somebody wants to be a hockey commentator,
right,
how would you recommend, I guess, going about that? There's a couple ways you could.
First thing I would say, watch a lot of hockey, but I'm sure you already do that for sure. The next big thing too is try and volunteer and try and get out and make yourself visible to some teams, because then if you are willing to volunteer for a potential position, whatnot, that's how you're going to get your opportunity. For me, I went to, I was a lifelong hockey fan. I played at a decently high level.
And more than most.
And then I went to broadcasting school. And I was fortunate enough that my first job got to do play-by-play with the job. So I got to do hockey games on the radio.
Yeah.
But it's more or less the big thing I would say is, like, if you can, like, reach out to some small junior teams in your area.
Yeah, Keenan, you said you were from Nova Scotia, right? Like, there's plenty of hockey out there.
Yep.
So if you can find like a local, even start small sometimes.
Like a junior A or junior B team, or even like a U18 team.
Yeah, like under 18s or even the minor hockey league in your area. Just jump in there and say, hey, what can I do to help? And then, like Jeremy said, you start meeting people and you never know.
And then, after that, it just it comes down to practice.
Yeah.
Because you got to get your reps in.
Practice?
That's I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, how did you practice as a budding broadcaster? Because it's not always, you can't just broadcast a game for the first time and be good.
Sure can.
So what did you do to work on like your cadence and the terminology that you
I'll tell you what I did at the very start before I even that was a very close
That was a
chance.
very close chance.
Before I even started, because I before my very first game on the radio for 2 months, what I would do is I would fire up my PlayStation 3 and I would put on NHL 13.
Yeah.
And I would put 2 teams playing.
Oh, you wouldn't play. You would just.
I would put it on computer mode, and have the 2 computers play against each other.
Yeah.
And I would call the game in my living room.
Yeah.
Because I had a broadcaster tell me, you know what, if you can't call a hockey game in your living room, how are you going to do it in an arena potentially with hundreds of people?
Mm-hmm.
And that really stuck.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So right away, I just started doing that and practicing that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with doing that through a video game, is the play's really fast. So you have to get good at, it was a good way to learn how to, try to get my thoughts out and articulate it quickly.
That's the hardest part for me that I don't know if I could do it because
Well, that's a good say.
Jeremy, you know me a little bit now. When I talk, I like to really explain things, and you don't always have time to explain.
You got to be kind of like quick.
You got to know exactly how to say things so 100%. That people get it quick.
100%. Yeah. And then it was funny because then I remember when I did my very first game.
Who was your first game?
It was the Kindersley Clippers visiting the Battleford North Stars in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League.
There you go.
It was a Saturday night in Battleford.
Did you start the season or did you take over for somebody?
I started the season.
You started, okay.
Yeah. And Battleford won 4-1.
There you go. Any SJHL fans in the building?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Like I said, I remember my first game as the color for you was Nipawin, Estevan Bruins in Nipawin on the road. And I had already been sitting with you for a few games.
Yeah.
Because I was like doing social media and stuff, like live tweeting.
And that's why I asked you. I was like, well, you're sitting beside me already. You might as well just pop on the headset. Because you were talking to me about things in the game during my commercial breaks.
Right.
So I'm like, well, you might as well just come on air and say these things.
And I remember my first game, I was so terrified because I had heard your broadcast, obviously, and you knew what you were doing at that time to an extent. I mean, we never all knew exactly what we're doing.
I was, 20,
but you were more
years old.
Yeah, you'd done about 100 games or so at that point.
For sure.
And as a color guy, that's going to be a penalty. Yeah.
That's a bad penalty.
But as a color guy, I had never done a broadcast. For me, I was like super hesitant to know when to say something.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to cut you off. Right. And I didn't want to talk too long.
And that's the interesting thing about doing color is you kind of have to, that's when you build chemistry, right?
Yeah. And I think we did do pretty good at that time.
100%.
And I think the first couple games, there was a couple times where I looked over and you were like, okay, shut up. But I picked up on that really quick. Where he worked out pretty good.
That was a really bad knee on you.
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
Don't stick out your leg like that.
I don't know much about Will. Is it Coyle? Do you say Coyle or Q? How do you say his name? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Dylan, that is Liz Child. She does cover the Sharks on Twitter and stuff, and she also covers the Seattle Thunderbirds quite extensively.
She covers the entire U.S. division.
Well, she covers all of them. Yeah, exactly. But yes, that is Liz. That is the one and only Liz Child. So that is her. As Dylan has said several times, as we await the final decision, I think they're deciding if this is going to be a 5-minute major. Ouch, that was bad.
Oh, that's really bad.
I think they're deciding if this is going to be a 5-minute major.
Yeah, that's what Stefan said.
Oh, yes, 5-minute penalty. Got it, Stefan. Stefan's all over it. Murph says, okay, it's not going to be 9-2.
Well, you got the 2 right, Murph, right now.
So far, anyways.
But, I mean, if Finland's on the power play here for 5 minutes and have a minute 5-on-3.
Liz makes sure we say also the Barracuda. She covers the Barracuda also. There you go, Liz. You got it. For baseball fans, little out-of-town scoreboard action. The Blue Jays are up 3-2 on the Orioles after Lourdes Gurriel.
They trail 3-2.
Sorry, they trail. I read that wrong. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has 2 RBIs, I believe, though, which I am okay with because he is on my fantasy hockey team. Dylan says, hey, Liz, I used to host the Stick Hungry Pod with Nick Flower and Kyle McLaren. Well, there you go. Stick Hungry, shark biting the stick.
5 minutes. 5 minutes for kneeing.
This game just got way more interesting. Now, does he get kicked out for that 5-minute penalty?
No.
Match penalty?
I think it's just a 5-minute major.
Okay. So that's going to definitely change this because, like we said earlier, now they haven't totally shown it. Oh, is he going to get kicked out here?
Oh, you're right. He is getting kicked out. That's the awkward walk of shame now.
That's not fun.
No.
But as we said earlier,
you ever have to do that in hockey? Get a 5-minute major.
I actually have a really funny story that I will tell you. But as we said earlier, Finland does have a pretty dangerous power play unit, so this could go really, really badly. I will tell you a funny story about me getting kicked out in a hockey game once. So I was living in Moose Jaw at the time, and I'll keep this short because games.
Well, you got 5
penalty.
on 3. Hold the story. Let's wait for the 5 on 3 to be done.
That's going to be a long time.
No, 5 on 3.
Oh, 5 on 3. Okay.
Yeah, it's a minute.
Finland's on the 5 on 3.
All right.
I do have a story about getting kicked out of a hockey game, though. Good save.
That's a great save.
Is it loose? Oh,
it was loose.
But they whistled it for sure. That's not going to be a goal.
Oh, Grand's mad.
Oh, that's super interesting. So they're cycling it around here. Cross seam, and then nobody knew where it was. Oh, it kind of trickled down there. You
It
see
came loose at the end.
right there,
It dropped.
and they picked it up.
But he had it for
Yeah.
most of the time.
The whistle had blown by the time that puck dropped out. Hot Take Hockey, what's going on, my good man? Hot Take Hockey, if you don't follow him on YouTube, go do it. He does great live streams. Also on TikTok, also great live streams. Go follow John. Great fella.
Yeah, I agree, Stefan.
John, what do you got going on? Like, do you have anything coming? Are you doing any World Junior games, or what are you doing right now over on your channel? Plug yourself, John. So what did Stefan say? He had it. Oh.
Yeah, he did have it, and then it fell out of his pad pretty much when the whistle went. So
Fair enough. Another cross seam, another save by Grand, or maybe it got blocked a little bit there.
Who doesn't?
Finland's going for the cross ices, hey? Like every time.
Oh, that's the way to score.
That's the way to
nowadays,
score.
Yeah.
Get the goalie moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. See right there, like that was one of those broken plays. I feel like broken plays are almost like if you can purposely break up a play or break a play, broken plays score often.
Yeah, 100%.
Because everyone's going backwards and then it's open.
100%.
Oh,
That was really nice. That was a great save.
Those cross ice passes.
That was a really good save.
Canada's not doing a very good job of getting in the way of those. There we go. They got it out there. Dumped it down. Really needed line change. Really needed that. Ridley Gregg's getting everybody's tapping Ridley Gregg on the head right now after that shift. I think he blocked a couple of those shots. Oh, that's going to be another penalty. No? Mason McTavish just definitely tripped the guy behind the net and he didn't get a penalty for it.
I thought he was going to get one too.
Another clearing. Hot Take Hockey. THPN's a place to be. Yes, and make sure you hit like and subscribe as we go here. Maybe another WJC stream or two. Excited for the NHL season. There you go. Hot Take Hockey. Make sure you go give them a check out. Go check them out. I will tell the story of me getting kicked out of a hockey game soon. I
swear.
I swear I'll tell you soon. That's what they call in the industry teaser. A little tease. This is why hockey is the best sport ever. I agree, Stefan. I love it. It's a good time. Finland needs to get back in.
They need at least a goal on this power play.
They need one.
If they want a chance in this game.
I was going to say, too, that they just need to get back in the zone.
Well,
They haven't been in the zone for a minute and a half.
That's a fair point, yeah.
I remember when I was working with the Pats, we had a 5-minute penalty kill against the it was in the finals against Seattle one year. And remember Turner Ottenbright?
Yep.
He was getting on everybody's nerves, and he was I think he was on the power play unit or something. He was on the ice a lot. And because I think Ethan Bear for the one game wasn't necessarily running the power play because he had a broken hand.
That's right.
So I think they had Turner Ottenbright out there. And he had checked Adam Brooks from behind or something. And obviously at the time, Adam Brooks was the captain and everybody loved him. So the whole crowd hated Turner Ottenbright. And I want to say maybe earlier in the season too, he also did something to Austin Wagner, if I'm not mistaken, maybe knee on knee or something really dirty.
Okay.
So the whole crowd already didn't like Turner Ottenbright. Anyways, he was out on the power play. And every time he touched the puck, the whole crowd, sold out, energetic crowd would boo.
Just start booing.
And then we would get the puck, and I think we cleared the puck like 10 times in a row, like a ton of zone entries.
Right.
We just got it out right away. The crowd was going nuts where it would go super loud for the clearing and then you would touch it and boo. And then super loud and then boo. And it was like it was like the most fun couple of minutes, I think, of that playoff run. Anyways, my story getting kicked out in hockey. I was a bigger guy, obviously, when I was younger. I was bigger than most of the kids. And in Adam, my dad was my coach, one of my coaches anyways. And that was the first year of contact.
Yep.
And for us anyways, I know they've changed the rules since we were growing up. But that was the first year of contact. And I wasn't a guy that like loved hitting, even though I was a bit bigger. I was more of I tried to score. Like I wasn't much of a physical guy. And I wasn't very good at it because of that. I wasn't very good at it. And there was a game where I had a couple of roughing from behind penalties where I was basically just like running into guys on the boards, but I was way bigger than them. And I kept getting from behind, like, trying to hit them along the boards or whatever. And my dad was getting so mad at me. So I think I had 2 hitting from behind penalties. And I got off the out of the penalty box the second time. And my dad was like, Clark, if you take one more hitting from behind penalty, I'm kicking you out. Like, if the refs don't kick you out, I'm kicking you out of the game. And I was like crying. I was like 9 or whatever I was, 10. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. Like, I won't do it. I promise. And there was the one time I was forechecking on one of the guys, and he turned the other way as I was kind of coming into him. And again, he was like this little tiny guy, and I got another hitting from behind penalty. So my dad said to the ref, don't send him to the box, send him off. And so I had to leave. It was like the second period or something. And my own dad kicked me out of the game. I wasn't even kicked out of the game. We still laugh about it now, but like at the time I was devastated. And I was so worried, about the car ride home after a game where your dad's not too happy with you. That was the most nerve-wracking, like 30 minutes waiting for the game to end because I was so worried what the car ride home was going to be like. Yeah, it wasn't my best game that I ever played.
Fair.
Yeah. You ever get kicked out as a goalie?
No, I was sneaky.
Okay, you did the sneaky little, punches to the backs, huh? Little hacks to the back.
That's why you got a blocker, right?
Yeah.
That's why you got a blocker.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to clear traffic.
Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, guys.
Yes, please do.
I know that there's a few new people popping in here, so make sure you guys do that. And check out DraftKings. Use the promo code THPN if you're making a new account. Get some bonus prizes in there. So definitely check out DraftKings. Use the promo code THPN. THPN for bonus prizes. Bonus, what do you call it? Bonus money? I think just whatever. You get bonus. Credit? Bonus credits? I don't know exactly what it is. I forget what the actual bonus is. So you have to find out for yourself. There's a teaser. Go find out for yourself. You tell me what it is when you do it. Go to DraftKings, put in the promo code, and you tell me what it is that you get. I'm curious. I know that there is the information somewhere. I just can't remember where it is. But make sure you do that.
Keenan asks, are the Swiss going to be a challenge for Canada?
They haven't been historically.
No. And the Swiss barely got by. Who do they play today? It's for that playoff spot. Austria. They barely beat Austria today. 3-2. And if it wasn't for a 5-minute power play with 5 minutes left, it would have been, who knows how it would have went. But yeah. I don't think so.
So I'm just looking at Latvia's roster because I remember we were trying to look at it earlier and the website wasn't working for me. I don't know if the website's super up to date here. These probably stats they only show like 2 games being played, 1 game being played. So I don't know if this website's the greatest. It's like the website. Canada.ca. Switzerland. I meant to click on Switzerland. Switzerland always has like 2 guys that are really competitive, and then the rest of the team struggles to keep up.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, isn't Simon? Cable. Hey. There we go. I came back.
I was going to say.
Just had to yell at it.
I was going to say, did we not pay the cable?
If I'm not mistaken, Joel Henry, Is he one of their guys? He's one of their big boys? Joel Henry. Plays with Zurich. Yeah, see, I got to check out. This isn't the right part of the website to be going to. It's not telling me anything. I got to go to the World Junior website. Tournament. I'll check it out. But yes, Switzerland.
They didn't have a shot after it turned to a 5-on-4. They didn't have a shot on goal.
That's a killer.
It was just while they had a 5-on-3.
That's a killer right there. That's a killer. Simon Knack. Yeah, Simon Knack was one of the big names.
Yeah.
Is this going to come? Is this going to give me what I want? Yes, all teams. Thank you. Switzerland. Simon Knack, I think, Henry was one of the better players. Simon Knack has only got one goal so far. They play late, or they played today, so their game today must not have registered yet on this website.
No,
they should have 4 games on here. It's only got 3. So, I don't think that they're going to put up too big of a fight, but at the same time, Switzerland's always been one of those countries that they can shock someone at any time, like any year.
I think more so at the higher levels of hockey. At higher international level. But honestly, Switzerland at the World Juniors lately have always been that team that's been more likely falling down to the relegation round.
Mm-hmm.
They play that best of 3.
Yeah.
And then they survive because they are still good enough.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't had many teams lately that have really made an impact. Like I remember, it would have been like 2009ish or 2010ish or that area.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when there was a point when Switzerland made semifinals?
Yeah. Was that Nino Niederreiter?
Yeah, that was Nino Niederreiter.
Nino Niederreiter was just running the tournament. Like it was him and everybody else at that.
And then they had, who was it in net? They had Benjamin Kahns in net.
Oh,
there's a name drop.
There's a name.
Yeah.
Benjamin Kahns, yeah.
Benjamin Kahns.
That's good.
And he was like their goalie at the World Juniors for like a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And he always stood on his head.
Yeah.
Like he would face like 60 to 70 shots a game. And,
yeah.
And I remember because he was a right-handed goalie too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was Keenan asks, how do you think Roddy will be for the Islanders? Atu Ratti. Now he was a guy, if you remember, he was going to be like a top 5 pick at one point.
That's right.
And I think he got mono in his draft year or something like that, and he didn't really play much or an injury of some kind. Oh, that's another tripping penalty right there. Yeah.
Good call.
But Ratti, I think he was one of those guys who had like a really unfortunate delay in his development at like the wrong time. Just happened at a terrible time, like right before the draft or like the draft year, where he only played like half the games or whatever. And I think from what I understand, he didn't react well to that. And I think that really pushed him down the draft board for a lot of teams. He has the potential to be top 5 draft kind of talent. So with that in mind, he's going to a team with the Islanders who are very established. They've had the same forward group for like 3 or 4 seasons now, more or less. They've added a couple of guys here and there, of course, but for the most part, it's been Barzal, Nelson, JG Pajot has been there for a few years now. The fourth line, Clutterbuck, Zizekas, Matt Martin, they
have a very interesting forward group.
They could use an infusion.
They could, I think he's going to be a really good fit on that team.
Like I just think back to last season, Oliver Wahlstrom, who's American, but he's got a name that doesn't sound American. Oliver Wahlstrom came in and was like scoring pretty good. And it's like, oh, so he's just going to be like the rookie of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he slowed down.
Yeah.
But I think the Islanders are ripe for an infusion of skill. And I think Ratti could be that guy. I don't know about this year, but maybe next year.
For sure.
Hey, there's Mark Gregg. We've actually had him on the Rod Peterson show in the past.
I was going to say, so just under 6 minutes left. Greg has probably been Canada's best player.
I'd say player of the game.
He has to be their player of the game today.
Yeah.
I think so.
That goal he scored was nuts.
Well, I look at, you mentioned like how much he's been all over the place, but the fact that I mean, he's out there on the penalty kill. And he's constantly blocking shots.
Yeah. We've said his name probably more than anybody else tonight. Outside of the fact that for a minute there we were like talking about Bedard, we talked about McTavish, we talked about Garand. Outside of like those moments, I think Greg is the guy we've talked about the most.
Correct. One thing I just want to point out, and I don't know if it's just because we haven't noticed or there's something else, but when's the last time we saw Connor Bedard?
Oh yeah. Well, he probably isn't on the PK units, so there's been probably 5 or 6 minutes of penalty kill in a row here. But even before that, yeah, good point. We haven't seen him a ton in the third period at all. Maybe a couple shifts, but not noticeable shifts. He took that penalty late in the second, or was that early in the third? Remember he took that holding the stick penalty? I wonder if maybe Dave Cameron wasn't too impressed. Maybe took him out a little bit. Maybe
Dave Cameron's an old school coach too.
He is an old school coach. The Jays are down 5-2. It's true. The Jays are struggling against the Baltimore Orioles, and I have a feeling that a good friend of mine, Patrick Janex, is going to be sending me a message very soon, asking me what the heck the Jays are doing, losing to the Orioles.
You'll have to update me on all the chat now. My laptop died.
Oh, you don't have a cord?
No.
It's a brand new work computer for you, and we didn't give you a charging cord?
No, they just were like, here's a laptop.
You know what? Mine might work for you.
Okay, look, you won't.
You want to see?
Sure, we can
I
try.
got lots of juice. I might just wrangle through stuff here. I don't know if it was going to reach. I think that's fine. That's just the TV acting.
We pulled the cord, and now the game's off.
Did it fit?
No, we'll see.
Hey,
it's lighting up.
All right.
I can get the stream back up.
There you go.
I mean, it's the same brand of it. Oh yeah, it's the same brand of laptop.
I don't know if we.
No, you're fine. There we go.
Just making sure everything's like fully plugged in over here.
Oh yeah, we're doing good. I got hit. Well, now you're messing with it.
Did I mess?
Now there was just wrecking
everything.
Oh, another 5-on-3. Maybe they'll get a shot. So many tripping penalties. I agree, Lane. You know what they say about tripping penalties? Lazy.
I was gonna say, where are you going with this?
At least that's what all my hockey coaches said.
Yeah,
I never took tripping penalties though.
Hooking too.
Hooking's
the one where it's
like
usually if you just take one extra step, you don't have to do the hooking penalty. But
correct. Okay, now it's just 5-on-4.
But we know that 5-on-4, Jeremy, is infinitely harder than 5-on-3.
Yes. Yes.
If history tells us anything, 5-on-4s are harder than 5-on-3s.
That's what they say.
Oh,
okay.
Robbie. Now here's what I'm going to tell you. How many times today have we talked about Ottawa Senators prospects? Robbie Yarventi is another one. Ottawa Senators fans are loving this game today. This is good for them.
All right, 5-3 now.
Now there's still time.
I mean,
one more goal,
3:37.
One more goal, and all of a sudden it's 5-4. And then
Grant almost got that too. He almost. It was in and out of his glove.
Oh yeah. That's going to give him nightmares. Which Islanders players will be traded soon so the Islanders can sign Kadri? Keenan, if we knew that, we would be NHL insiders.
Great question.
I've heard Brock Nelson is a name that might get moved.
It's just so interesting the fact that you and I have talked about this. I don't want to get into it too much because there's 3.5 minutes left. But, the fact Kadri hasn't signed yet is unbelievable.
It's ridiculous. The problem is with the Islanders is that a lot of their guys that are tradable have no trade clauses. A name to look out for.
They almost got it back.
A name to look for is maybe like a guy like Anthony Beauvillier, very tradable, I would say, 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Bailey, less tradable, 32 years old, $5 million. But those are two names I think you pretty much, that's it. It's one of those two guys. They're not trading Barzal. So they'll trade Bailey or Beauvillier. And I mean, Beauvillier was rumored for a while to maybe be going to like the Flames or something. So Maybe he goes there to kind of fill a spot that Goudreau and
got some work to do.
Kachuk just vacated. But we'll see.
Donald says the Lightning reverse jersey said it's going to be that Storm jersey, what they wore in the late 90s. If you guys remember
with the lightning bolts?
Yeah, I didn't hate that.
That'd be hot. I'd be down.
Cool. Wow.
I'm totally down for the NHL retros this year to be like full on the 90s. Just bring back the 90s.
Yeah. Well, I know you and I have joked about, we think that, there's Bedard. There you go.
Mike Johnson just saying what you said a
Bedard,
minute ago.
Bedard's
they must be watching our stream.
Clearly. Mike Johnson, one of the viewers.
Yeah. Hi, Mike.
Finland has to pull the goalie soon, you'd think. I think, Murph, they were just in the process of pulling their goalie when they scored that goal on the power play.
But now that it's 5-on-5, I don't know if they do that right away.
Well, they might now. They got face off in the offensive zone, 2:32 left. I could see it.
Might be a good time. But yeah, they just mentioned that.
There you go. There he goes.
Connor Bedard has not played pretty much at all in the third period, so that's very interesting. Finland's taking a timeout. If Finland's taking a timeout,
so will we.
Oh, but they're not.
Nah.
It looked like he was getting his
Yeah,
board
it
ready.
was. I thought that's what the way you were going.
Okay. It was where I was going.
Oh, that was? Okay.
Yeah, it was. I thought they were going to call a timeout.
No, they didn't. Maybe because they knew Canada had been out there a long time.
Just keep them going.
Well, because it was icing, right?
Keep them on their heels. Oh, man. Garand, is he thinking too much right now? He just fought another one.
Yeah, that glove isn't looking great right now in this third.
Okay. They're just keeping it on the outside. Niemela's there. Another cross-ice pass.
They've been really good at that cross.
Really good.
Like they're connecting a lot.
Oh, is this going to be it?
Yeah.
There it is. William Dufour gets the empty netter with what? 2 minutes left?
147.
147. Jeremy, how many seconds is that in the hundreds?
107.
107 seconds. You're always really good at that. I remember in our broadcast, you always were really good at saying like the 110 seconds left in the game and be like, oh, now I have to do the math. Oh, that was good. Right there, and then right here is when they got one more, I think, right? Or is this where
they chipped it out? The no stop check got it to the center.
Yeah. Who's due for prospect of? William Dufour. He is the Islanders. So there you go, another Islanders guy. We were just talking about the Islanders. 5th round pick in 2020. William Dufour. Who knew? Well, lots of people probably knew. Lots of people probably knew.
Well, yeah.
Islanders. Liz knew. Now you just gotta cycle it down low and play keep away.
Do you want to just pull up the World Junior schedule?
Yes.
When is I think it's Wednesday. Wednesday's the super day because there's all 4 quarterfinals.
Yeah, 4 games in one day.
Holy.
Yeah. I don't want to go to Ticketmaster. Don't do that. 17th. Yeah, there's nothing tomorrow.
Yeah, and then there's
the 17th
4.
is 4. And it doesn't tell you which ones.
Yeah.
You could watch QF versus QF at 10 a.m. You could watch QF versus QF at 1:30. You can watch QF versus QF at 5 or QF versus QF at 8:30. So I'm looking forward to watching QF myself.
Yeah.
That should be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on QF, the quarterfinals.
Well, yeah, and the schedule
It'll
come out
come
once.
out.
Yeah, once the quarterfinals are set, it'll probably
The
come out
next game.
I mean, Canada will get probably the
one of the QFs, I would say.
Well, yes, but Canada will probably get that 5 o'clock game. It looks like.
Hold on, for those who are not understanding what I'm saying, I can actually show you. Hold on a sec. I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this. Where am I showing you here?
He's trying.
I'm trying.
Well, 10 seconds. Well, we got some cross-checking in front of the net to close out the game.
There you go. So for those who are wondering, what am I talking about with the QFs? This is how the schedule looks on the Hockey Canada website. QF versus QF, QF versus QF, QF versus QF. So I was saying, I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Oh, everyone's getting in on the QF. I think QF is the one to watch. Liz, you're right. Murph's cheering for QF. Awesome. Yeah. QF for gold. I agree. My money's on QF.
I don't think that there will be a champion that isn't named QF at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go to DraftKings and put money on QF.
Would you use a promo code by chance?
I would. I'd use the promo code THPN.
That was
beautiful.
That was perfect.
But yeah, Canada wins 6-3. They guarantee, they get the top seed in the group, and now they get Switzerland in the quarterfinal.
Swiss. Let's just bring back up the. Let's bring back up the flash
and
score
now they're
here.
Announce players of the game.
Ridley Gregg.
Has to be Ridley Gregg.
And who would get it for Finland? Niemela?
Who got
Kemmel?
So who got the major penalty?
Coyle. How do you spell his name? How do you say his name? Coyle?
Something like that.
I think it's Coyle. If anybody knows, I'm going to say it's Coyle. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the game. Here we go. Stats. Here's your final stats for the day, beside Jeremy there. And they're going to give the player of the game. Would it be the goalie for Finland?
No, I don't know.
Eppo Salmi. Okay. Nope, I said that name wrong. Hamo Salmi? Either way. Not who we picked. Haimo Salmi. I could have swore he said Hepa Salmi. Didn't he?
No.
Could have swore he did. Anyways.
It has to be. Yeah.
We called it. Ridley Gregg. Great game today.
Brandon Wheat King's legend.
Yeah, and his dad too. Brandon Wheat King's legend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mark Gregg. Actually, hold on. Mark Gregg might have played for Lethbridge. Let me just double check on that. Mark Gregg. He was a Flyers great though.
Oh. Keenan asked, is anyone on this channel doing the Germany and Sweden game?
I can tell you, actually. Just give me a minute. I will tell you if anybody picked up that game. I have the schedule right here. Yeah, here. I'll tell you in a sec. What day is it today? The 15th?
Yep.
I think we're the only ones today. So as of right now, I don't think anyone's doing the game later tonight. But keep an eye on the channel. There are some of the quarterfinal games are getting picked up. So John from Hot Take Hockey was actually doing several of the games this tournament. So there you go. Shout out to John. And I think the Chase Crawshaw is going to be doing one of the quarterfinal games, the earliest quarterfinal game on Wednesday. Earliest game. So we got one of the quarterfinals covered. And I don't know, maybe we'll pick up some playoff games. I don't know.
Yeah, I got no plans this week.
We'll see. Obviously, it's tough during the mornings here at the studio because we broadcast a show all night.
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe one of the later games, we'll have to see. But yeah, that is the game. Canada wins 6-3, as you can see on the screen.
So 2 out of the 4 quarterfinals are set.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll find out tonight after.
So USA, Czechia, he said, and Canada, Switzerland.
And then we'll find out, Sweden and Germany play tonight. And that'll determine the other 2 quarterfinals, and then get ready for a full day of hockey on Wednesday.
All day.
Literally all day.
10 o'clock Mountain Time, I believe. And then 1:30 Mountain Time. What did I say? 5 o'clock Mountain Time, and then 8:30 Mountain Time.
Yeah.
So 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Pretty
10 to
much
10.
All day long. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on this channel. Check out DraftKings. Jeremy, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It was a ton of fun.
It was fun.
Everybody checking in tonight, thank you. I'll just shout out some names. Obviously, Keenan's been here all night, dropping comments. Jacob, Donnell, Murph, Zukyud. I don't know if that's how you say it, but Zukyud? Let's go with that.
Sure.
Liz has been here for a while. Thank you, Liz, for popping in. Lane has been watching. the channel itself.
Oh, there you go. They already announced the time.
Oh, okay,
There you go.
so
Canada, Switzerland, Wednesday, 5 o'clock Mountain,
they're the evening
7
game.
Eastern, 4 Pacific,
There you go.
6 Central.
Raynell was checking in. Hot Take Hockey checked in. Stefan from Sweden.
Stefan from Sweden.
Stefan
Big
from
game
Sweden.
tonight or morning.
Morning, yeah, it's
In
probably morning
Sweden.
over there.
Don't know the time difference.
But I think we're going to leave it at that.
We are going to leave it at that.
Thank you again. And I don't know, maybe we'll jump on another one of these throughout the week.
Yeah, that'd be
before the
great.
Finals. And we'll see you again here on the Hockey Podcast Network as we go. But make sure you keep an eye on the channel for all the other guys, creators, and people who are handling some of the other streams as well. So this is how it works, Jeremy. I hit the outro. We end the broadcast.
Sounds great.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
Bye for now.